All right, now go into the web browser right there. Go to the, you can get rid of that. Go to the YouTube.
Is my phone in front of you?
Is it? All right, click on that. No, it's not, Joe.
Yes, it is. There
it is? All right.
Yeah, I'm the girly dolphin blue phone.
All right.
Nice.
Fourth down and 6. Old Bridge, gotta have it. Shotgun formation. Nugent, a lot of time. Rolls out. He's running out of space. Will roll the other way. They look. Corner of the end zone. Touchdown!
Rowan heading for the touchpad with the lead. And the props will take the men's 400-yard freestyle relay.
Andrews will be in shotgun. He takes the snap, makes the handoff. He'll throw it down the left sideline. He's got a wide open receiver. He's got the touchdown.
Motion man is Simmons. Trotman throwing towards Simmons down the field, and he makes the catch in traffic for a Bearcats touchdown.
Back to pass, middle of the field. The catch is made by Britt. She's off to the races at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Britt is in for the score.
Back on in. Here's Yoxie. Yoxie to the back end. Trying to go to the front. Makes the move and shot. And he scores!
And Gracie comes set and delivers. And that's it on the ground to second. Throw to first in time, and the ball game is over. South Shore survives a late scare, and they are the 2024 New York State Little League Baseball champions. Live from the Warenenko Sports Complex in Roselle, New Jersey, PDF Sports Network is proud to welcome you into coverage of the American Arena League 2 and the Jersey Bearcats. Tonight, the 2-0 Bearcats take on the 1-1 Maryland War Eagles. Good evening, everyone. My name is Joe Foreman alongside David Pizzuto, and we welcome you into the Brownstone Grill in Metuchen pregame show. And Dave, as always, we're excited to be back here in Warenenko as we continue our third season covering the Jersey Bearcats here on PDF with tonight's home opener against the War Eagles.
Yeah, Joe, pleasure to be back here with you as well. We've been here for all 3 years of the AAL2, and the first 2 years have treated us to some really great moments, not only league-wide, but in this arena. Some, last-minute victories, some great defensive and offensive performances, and for the Jersey Bearcats, a chance to reclaim a championship, a 2-0 record here, looking to defend it for the first time here at Waranenko.
And it's been a blast covering the Bearcats during our 2 seasons covering the AAL2. The 2023 AAL2 championship banner still hangs here in Waranenko at midfield during each and every Bearcats home game. We got the chance to travel on the road and cover that game a couple of years ago. You got the chance to travel on the road and cover the Bearcats in week 1, and we'll talk about that game in just a few moments. But Dave, while the Bearcats come in 2-0 in a pair of road games, we got an early look at the team here on PDF as you got the chance to cover that Week 1 game against the New Jersey Roughnecks. What stood out to you, and it was a hard-fought victory for the Bearcats in Week 1?
Well, they do have a good nucleus of players coming back, and that is always very helpful for a team for stability and things like that. But one of the things that I noticed, Joe, was that there are a lot of new faces on this team, but the identity has not changed. You know, this is still a team that's going to look to score on one play. They are going to look to air it out. They have a ground and pound run game. If you're looking to shut down the long passing attack, they're not afraid to run it, you know, through the guards, through the tackles, off tackle right, off tackle left. And then defensively, Joe, they are a hard-hitting, get-to-the-ball type of team, and they're going to make you earn it. What really stood out to me in that first game against the Roughnecks, Joe, is that they did a great job in the two-point conversion attempts. I mean, these were some plays that you felt like these were going to be easy scores. You got 5 and 6 hats to a ball, preventing them from getting the extra 2 points. And you know what? At halftime, that was the difference. They were only up by 2 points at the half, and of course, they had that big fourth quarter to take that big win against the Roughnecks.
And we've all heard it said before that if you have multiple quarterbacks, you have no quarterback. Last season, the Bearcats lost Stephen Colon to an injury early and had to piece it together the rest of the way. This season, they brought in some new quarterbacks that will be tasked with running an offense that has proven to be so capable of connecting on big plays in the past. You touched on it already. Who are some of the playmakers on this offense that we can look out for, and what should we expect on that side of the ball?
Well, you know, first and foremost, Joe, he was not the Game 1 starter, but number 15, Chris Crisculo, he's done a magnificent job. He's thrown for 6 touchdowns already in the first 2 weeks of the season. He came on in the second quarter of that game against the Roughnecks, threw for a couple of scores. So he really set the tone right away. He's got that one-play mindset and capability to toss the ball downfield. And you have number 7, Mateo Rodriguez, who can come in for a spell, a little bit more of a slash-type quarterback. Joe will run it out of the backfield as well. He's just an extra body you have to pay attention to. But then this is a team, Joe, that prides itself on its wide receiving core. Nas Adams is a great running back. He's going to be the ground and pound guy. But when they have to spread the field, they have 5 and 6 different targets they can go to. Now, they are a little banged up at wide receiver, Joe, but they're starters, guys like, you know, Kyle Ward, Doug Washington, Todd Simmons. These are guys that we're going to see a lot of. And again, short passing game, long passing game. This team could beat you in a lot of ways.
And if there's something we learned about this Bearcats team last season, it's how resilient this bunch can be through the injuries, through all of the changes at key positions, obviously quarterback, and elsewhere on the team, as they made a trade midseason as well. That's something not to forget as you shipped off one of your playmakers and Pete Savarese to the ultimate league champion in the Wheeling Miners. So there was some turnover there at the receiver position as well midseason. They made it work, picked up one victory in the postseason, if memory serves me correctly, before ultimately falling short in their bid to return to the championship game. That championship ultimately won by Wheeling against the Peach State Cats. But Dave, it's not just the Bearcats offense that has proven capable of big plays. Arguably, their defense was even more important to this team's success last season. Though this wasn't the case in Week 1, we saw the Bearcats in a lot of low-scoring games last year. The defense did put up a low-scoring effort in Game 2, allowed just 12 points in that game, but much of the team's success in 2024 was due to the performance of the defense. We mentioned some of the turnover on the offensive side of the ball. What does the Jersey defense look like this year?
Well, they look good, Joe. And, you know, it took them a little while to get out of the gate in that game against the Roughnecks. They gave up some scores early. But once they settled in and once guys knew their assignments, you could tell this was a team that was humming. And, you know, guys that I look for immediately right out of the gate, you know, Keemon Coleman, right in the middle of that linebacking core. This is his 3rd year with the team. Always a big leader with tackles. Defending Defensive Player of the Week, Justin Piper. We're going to hear from him during the pregame. Guys who fly to the ball. Tariq Pusey, number 22, also great in the defensive backfield. But, Joe, we don't mention them enough. Offensive side of the ball or defensive side of the ball, the guys in the trenches, man. That's how games are won in the NFL. That's how they're won in arena. And these guys can move bodies. And the one big takeaway that I had from that game against the Roughnecks on week 1 is once they started getting consistent pressure on the quarterback, it was curtains for the Roughnecks. They just couldn't get the ball downfield. They chased the quarterback after the game for an injury, and this is a team that can get after it. Look for number 56. He's wearing a new number, Ahmad Peoples-Murray, to put some pressure on the quarterback. We know Jalil Taylor and Joey Ramirez can do it as well. They get after it, Joe, and when they start getting into your backfield, you're in trouble.
You certainly are, and we've seen it in the past, Dave. That unit up front with interceptions, with fumbles, and with big scoring plays on the defensive side of the ball. This Bearcats team, as we've seen, can score a ton of points. Some of those do come on the defensive side, be it from the men up front or the men in the secondary, the defensive backs as well, specifically all the way back in that 2023 championship game. That's one that I can't forget, as we had a pick six right before the half. So many big plays created on the defensive side of the ball for Jersey. It's not just this offense that can put up points, but we are going to get a chance to talk to some of the Bearcats playmakers on both sides of the ball. So what we'll do here is step aside and take a quick break. We are going to throw it down to the field where our colleague Cameron Williams is going to get a chance to speak with some of the Bearcats, including head coach A.J. Roque. That's coming up next. This is the Brownstone pregame show. More to come after this.
Burgers are better at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
My weekend starts with the Brownstone burger, topped with cheddar, barbecue sauce, and a fried egg.
Give me the Hawaiian burger. I love the Canadian bacon and sweet pineapple.
How do you like your salads? Shrimp, chicken, beef?
Stop in and see why families are eating good at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
This fall, NSC Apparel has you covered. We have top quality uniforms with unlimited customization and great pricing. The Supersonic uniform has pro level fabrics and embroidery, and the Sonic Speed uniform lends itself perfectly for full body designs. We also offer fan jerseys for the perfect fundraiser. Let us make you the best dressed team on the field this fall. NSC Apparel, official uniform provider of the Bearcats and the AAL2.
Today's game is presented by Total Performance Bodywork with Dave Riemann. Dave is a body worker, licensed massage therapist, and strength and movement coach. He's combined his wide variety of expertise into a system that he calls Total Performance Bodywork. Trusted by professional athletes and bodybuilders, Dave has been helping people to recover from new and old injuries, improve their breathing efficiency, athletic performance, mobility, flexibility, and their overall strength. Visit Total Performance Bodywork at totalperformancebodywork.com or contact Dave by calling 610-570-7480 or email Dave Riemann at rcn.com.
KKT InvestStars is now a proud sponsor of the Jersey Bearcats and the AAL2. No matter what needs you have, F. Tarkin Jones will develop the right solution for you. See for yourself the star treatment you will get with KKT, InvestStars LLC. Call today at 201-290-4802 and be a star, just like the Bearcats.
The Jersey Bearcats are proud to welcome the sounds of DJ Sparks for the 2025 football season. As heard on Blazing 98.5 FM, DJ Sparks is perfect for nightclubs, concerts, corporate and sporting events. Bringing the party to you. The best sounds and the best time with DJ Sparks. Contact DJ Sparks on social media, email, or by phone, and let's get the party started. DJ Sparks, proud supporter of the Jersey Bearcats.
The Jersey Bearcats are back for another exciting season of AAL2 Arena football. Get on board with us and follow us all year long. For information on our donations, sponsorships, and game day and ticket information, please please contact us at Jersey Bearcats Arena Football at gmail.com.
Attention local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
And we are back from the Warenenko Sports Arena in Roselle. And once again, this is the Brownstone Grill in Metuchen pregame show. My name is Joe Foreman on the call tonight alongside David Pizzuto. However, our colleague Cameron Williams is down on the field. He is going to get a chance to speak with some of the Jersey Bearcats tonight. He is first joined by quarterback Chris Quisculo.
I'm here with Chris Kulo. Last week in Michigan, you were the Offensive Player of the Week, throwing 3 touchdowns. How do you look to build off of that week?
And so what we're going to do today is do exactly what we did last week, but even better. We're going to start off faster and just execute.
And how is the preparation going into this game here?
I mean, we do what we do every week. We watch film, we study, we talk, and we prepare.
What will be the key to your success in this game to go 3-0 as a team?
Taking what they give us, executing, like I said, that's probably the number one most important thing, and defense showing out like they've been doing.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Chris.
All right, thank you, Cameron. And from the offensive side of the ball to the defensive side of the ball, Justin Piper joins Cameron down on the field.
I'm here with Justin Piper here. Last weekend, you were the Defensive Player of the Week for the Jersey Bearcats with 9 tackles. How do you look to build off of that performance?
Just keeping the main thing, doing my 1/8. We're going to set the tone today at the end of the day, and that's all. That's it. That's all.
As a leader on the defensive side of the scheme here, how do you and your team look to defend this opposing team today?
Contain the quarterback, run to the ball, DBs do our assignments, everybody do our 1/8. That's the moral of the day. Do your 1/8 and we're going to be good.
And how do you look to build off your early weaknesses and look to build those into strengths?
Good question. Keep the main thing, do your 1/8, trust the man beside you. We got to communicate today at the end of the day, and we've been getting better with that. So as long as we do that, we're going to be good.
Awesome. Thank you very much. We'll send it back up to Dave and Joe in the booth.
All right, thank you, Cameron. And as always, a staple of our pregame show during each and every Bearcats home game, we have our conversation with head coach A.J. Roquet.
I'm here with Coach A.J. right now. Coach A.J., early on, you guys are 2-0 so far. What has been your keys to your success?
I was just playing Bearcat football. The first game we started out slow, but, second half we turned it up, and we've been rolling ever since, starting out fast.
What has the preparation been like to ensure that you guys go 3-0 each week?
Practice, coming practice on Tuesday nights, practice hard, everybody understanding their assignments and watching film and, on your opponent and understanding what they're doing.
What has it been your guys' biggest weakness that you're looking to build off of and strengthen?
Our injuries, right? We've had a lot of injuries, and we've been able to put it together every week and, fight through it and get a W.
It's that next man up mentality, Coach. Love it. Thank you, Coach. Send it back up to Dave and Joe in the booth.
All right, thank you, Cameron. And with that, we are going to step aside for one more quick break. On the other side of this short break, we'll look back at the Bearcats Week 1 and Week 2. Same for the War Eagles. We also take a look ahead to the upcoming schedule ahead of kickoff. This is the Brownstone pregame show, coverage of the Bearcats and the War Eagles, coming up next right here on the PDF Sports Network.
The Jersey Bearcats are proud to welcome the sounds of DJ Sparks for the 2025 football season. As heard on Blazing 98.5 FM, DJ Sparks is perfect for nightclubs, concerts, corporate and sporting events. Bringing the party to you. The best sounds and the best time with DJ Sparks. Contact DJ Sparks on social media, email, or by phone, and let's get the party started. DJ Sparks, proud supporter of the Jersey Bearcats.
And we are back from the Waranenko Sports Arena, about a minute and a half away from the pregame ceremonies, including the introduction of starters, singing of the national anthem, to, of course, be followed by opening kickoff between the War Eagles and the Bearcats. Very quickly, we'll get a look on our screen at what the Bearcats have done already this season and what is coming up the rest of the way for this Jersey team. After tonight, we have 3 more games here on the PDF Sports Network. In addition to tonight's coverage, the Bearcats have already played 2 games. As we mentioned, they are 2-0. Dave, you covered that Week 1 game. It was a back-and-forth affair, as you mentioned, until the fourth quarter. There is some video of the game from Week 2. We did not cover that here on PDF. What did that game look like? Obviously, a lopsided Bearcats win.
Well, that was a game where the Bearcats just jumped on the Michigan Avengers early, and they kind of never let up. You know, they had a big lead. I think it was 14-0 to start, or 14-6 at the end of the first quarter, and then it was 28-6 at halftime, and then you see the lopsided score. But that's an impressive win for the Bearcats, Joe, because it's not easy to get on a bus and travel 8, 9, 10 hours to Michigan in Detroit and, play a game and score 50 on a new team. The Avengers, of course, the Avengers are a first-year program from the jump. You know, they're not a recreation or a reboot. So they're, of course, 1-1 this season. But that game 1 was pretty impressive. And the next time we are here, Joe, is on May 10th. We're going to get the rematch here, only at Waranenko. And you know the Roughnecks are going to want that. That's the battle for New Jersey, and round 2 comes up on May 10th.
Always a little bit of an extra element to that rivalry in that matchup, with both teams being local products. But let's take a very quick look at last week's results around the AAL2 as well. And as you can see, the Roughnecks rebounded pretty nicely. They picked up a 29-point victory over the Outlaws. Obviously a big win for the Bearcats. A lot of crooked numbers on the scoreboard around the AAL2 last week, but the one score that is of relevance to the Bearcats tonight, outside of their own game, the War Eagles scored just 2 points against the Stampede last week.
Yeah, and they beat the Stampede the week before. So those 2 teams have met 2 weeks in a row, one time in Maryland, one time in PA. And the War Eagles lose the home game. They won in Week 1 over the Stampede, and they lost 24-2. So I actually asked Coach A.J. Roquet, what happened last week to the War Eagles? I didn't get to watch video, or he said, don't know. Just a tough game for them. There was really nothing pointed that you could speak to. But I'll tell you what, this is a big team. They look the part, and, the Maryland War Eagles are a combo between the Maryland Warriors and the Maryland Eagles, 2 teams that were in the AL2 and 2 teams that were run very well and came very well prepared. And we'll see what they have for us today. But a tale of 2 teams, this War Eagles team. Let's see what they have here in round 3.
In short, you don't know what we're going to get here tonight. It should be an entertaining one, but as always, we've said it, they do things right here in Jersey. Pre-game introductions, national anthem, Lady Bearcats, all of that coming up. We'll throw it down to Ant, our public address announcer, and let you take in the pre-game ceremony here on opening night in Waranenko.
Let's have a big Jersey round of applause for the Maryland War Eagles. Let's have a huge round of applause for tonight's Dance Group Spotlight, the Latin Dance House. And now it's time to meet your 2025 Jersey Bearcats. And linebacker number 1, Keelan Coleman. And wide receiver number 2, Devon Thomas. At wide receiver number 3, Todd Simmons Jr. At defensive back number 5, Nye Archer. At wide receiver number 6, Kyle Moore. At quarterback number 7, Mateo Rodriguez. team's coach, Corey Miller. Up next, part of the coaching staff, Darnell Kay. Offensive and defensive lineman coach, David Pinto. Defensive back coach, Anthony Shaw. Defensive coordinator, Coach Jeff. Head coach and co-owner of the Jersey Bearcats, AJ Rosen. At this time, we kindly ask you to please rise if you're able to, as we honor the United States of America, as well as those service people around the globe defending our freedom and protecting our way of life with the singing of tonight's national anthem. Tonight's national anthem is performed by Honor Blue Savage.
See by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Let's have another round of applause for Honor Blue Savage.
And we are back here on the PDF Sports Network as you just took in our entire pregame festivities here on opening night ahead of kickoff between the Jersey Bearcats and the Maryland War Eagles. Once again, my name is Joe Foreman alongside David Pizzuto. And Dave, we've talked a lot about the Bearcats tonight. We're not really sure what to expect on the side of the War Eagles. As you said, two very different results for them. What do the Bearcats have to do to get to 3-0?
Well, I think they have to play Bearcats football, which is stay true to their identity, Joe. One thing that, I heard from Coach Roque, and something that they've done all 3 years, Joe, is that if they win the toss, they elect to always get the football first. And it's because they want to make that statement. They want to jump on teams early. Look out for the one-play drives. Chris Gulo is going to look to air it out, the length of the field, try to get the quick scores. And then, Joe, honestly, what these games come down to, we say it all the time, penalties and turnovers. Those are two intangibles that teams need to win if they want to win arena football games. And, when we look at the box scores the next day, we usually see the team that turned the ball over more. They're the team that usually lose the game. So something that the Bearcats want to do, and if they can get it done, they should feel really confident going into this game.
Self-inflicted wounds always play a role in the results of every game that we cover here on the PDF Sports Network, whether at the semi-professional level, in the arena game, in the women's professional game that is returning to PDF in a couple of weeks with the Tri-State Warriors. And speaking of the WFA, one of their teams now out at midfield participating in the ceremonial coin toss. So we'll get a look at what the result of that coin toss is momentarily. It looks like the Bearcats are making the decision. The referee is trying to figure out who's going to take which side of the field. And perhaps they haven't tossed yet. We'll find out shortly. But either way, the WFA returns to the PDF Sports Network in a couple of weeks. Double duty on May 10th as we cover both the Warriors and the Bearcats that day. The Bearcats, as you mentioned earlier, will be taking on the Roughnecks in that game. But we still await the results of the opening coin toss here on opening night, and they're still playing with that coin, Dave.
Yeah.
So they're really making me draw this one out.
Well, that's what happens when you have three teams as part of the coin toss. You got to explain it to three different teams. But you mentioned the Jersey Shore Wave. They participate in the WNFC, Joe. There are two women's professional leagues in the United States, and the Jersey Shore Wave are the Jersey team from the WNFC, and of course we cover the Tri-State Warriors of the WFA down in South Jersey, and like you said, we'll begin that on May 10th. And we should mention, Joe, that tonight is youth night. We had a great youth performer of our national anthem that you were treated to, and of course the junior dancers as well. So, I think you said it, Joe, during pregame, no one does it quite like the Bearcats when it comes to the pomp and circumstance and the fan experience. And that was a great pregame from the Bearcats.
It absolutely was, and good news for the Bearcats as well, as they have won the opening coin toss. And Dave, no surprise, they're taking the football, as we know they are usually going to do, if not every time the Bearcats choose to receive. So it will be a performance by the Lady Bearcats ahead of kickoff, and we'll step off headset just for a moment as the Lady Bearcats take the field. Once again, that was the Lady Bearcats, copyrights permitting. You'll be able to go back and watch that on demand on the PDF Sports Network, your home for the AAL2 and Jersey Bearcats Arena Football. Joe Foreman and Dave Pizzuto on the call tonight as we are just moments away from kickoff between the Bearcats and the War Eagles. Dave, if you're the War Eagles, obviously we know this Bearcats offense can put up points. How do you slow them down?
Well, I think you just got to stay true to your assignments, Joe. You don't want to do too much, especially early in the game. You got some guys flying around looking to make a play. Stay in your lanes, stay disciplined, and it starts right here, right? You got to get good coverage here on this kick. Keep them inside the 15, 10-yard line if you can, and just stay discipline, and of course, it helps when you win the line of scrimmage. That's going to be a task for this War Eagles team. We'll see if they're up for it.
That battle up front and in the trenches, always something to keep an eye on as we cover the arena game. And the arena game is unique in the fact that there are just 3 players on the line of scrimmage for each side. Pre-snap motion allowed as well. You can move through the snapping of the football. 1 player, of course. You do not have to come set.
2 players this year, Joe. Is
2 players.
The new rule.
Interesting.
You can have 2. Yep.
Wow. That's new for 2025?
Yes, it is. Yep.
That is going to make for some interesting
indoor
looks.
rules, yeah. And now we see it 2 in motion.
Wow.
Most of the time. Yeah, talk about being hamstrung on defense.
Yeah. I think the great equalizer here in Waranenko, as we've said time and time again, is the low-hanging ceiling. Definitely benefits the defense.
Yeah, and sometimes, you mentioned the lopsided scores. Sometimes that's why you see the 50 and the 60 up there. The Georgia Indians put up 60 last week. That's part of the reason why.
War Eagles get set to send it away. Ryan DeCamp kicks it as it skips to the arms of the return man, Todd Simmons Jr. He loses his footing across the 15 and is tackled at the 16-yard line.
Yeah, Turf Monster got him that time. Otherwise, he was reversing field, and good job to cover him up by Frank Snead as well. So the Bearcats get it just outside the 15, and that's where they'll start. And we'll get to see who trots out first at quarterback. And I think it will be Chris Kulo who comes
Bearcat onto the field.
Yep, and both quarterbacks have played in both games for the Bearcats this season.
And that makes for a very interesting dynamic. You don't often see it work out where multiple players get in the game at quarterback and get involved heavily in the game plan. Every once in a while, you'll see a team utilize the second quarterback as more of a runner, maybe even in goal line spots. But it's very rare that 2 quarterbacks get extensive action, and the team is able to thrive under those circumstances. We'll see if the Bearcats can break that trend here tonight.
Don't be surprised if they go for the home run here, Joe. That's what the Bearcats like to do on first downs of a drive or first plays of drives. Let's see. We got movement first.
And we'll see who the guilty party is here.
Thought Singleton went over first on the defensive side. Indeed. So that cuts the yards and distance in half.
Well, if there was any question about whether or not they're going to take a shot, I think a first and short makes it a bit more likely that they take a shot down the field here.
Yeah, and obviously, you make a great point with the low ceilings here. It's hard to do that when you're at your own 5. When you're at the 20, different story.
You're in the right spot here, just short of midfield where the ceiling is highest, as they will throw. Chris Colo looking down the field, throws it away into the glass. Incomplete.
Yeah, and that's a smart play by Chris Colo, recognizing he doesn't have anything deep. Kyle Ward was the only receiver running a deep route on that play, Joe, and he was double covered. So the War Eagles knew that was coming, or they did a nice job with Ward in the defensive secondary, and by rolling out to the right side, Chris Colo really cut off half the field, and there was really nobody on that side.
Second down and 5 for the Bearcats. Ball at the 21. Chris Colo flanked in the backfield by Nas Adams. Ward in motion. The handoff goes to Adams. He has running room out across the 25, inside the 15, and down at the War Eagles' 13-yard line.
Yeah, that was a nice job by the Bearcats up front, Joe. They allowed the defensive end to get penetration in the backfield, and the Bearcats took advantage of it, and they're going quickly here, Joe. So we won't even be able to see a replay of that yet.
Early tempo for the Jersey offense. They hand off to Adams. He looks to bounce it outside, runs over one defender, and is tackled inside the 5.
Yeah, you're looking for your offensive line to build up some confidence, Joe, early in the game. How's that? You run it right, you run it left, you get positive yards on both plays. Second down here, and about 5 yards till they get to the end zone.
They'll go quick again here. Motion man Ward. Handoff Adams, and he is swallowed up in the backfield. First man in there was Keon Singleton.
Yeah, Singleton said, I saw enough of that. And he blew that play up in the backfield again on that little bit of a delay on the handoff, and delayed too much that time as the War Eagles were already in the backfield. So good job there. And I think, is it third down, Joe, or second?
I believe it would be very close.
Yeah.
It's hard to make out the sticks from here.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if the first
Did he
run.
get 10?
Oh, yeah, the first run got the first down.
It
for
was
sure.
very close,
Yeah.
but I think he may have just gotten it. If not, they were just short. It was very close. Pre-snap motion once again. Chris Kulo looks to throw. Now rolls to his right. Throwing. End zone and nearly intercepted. Kadeem Bailey got his hands on that football and nearly came up with the INT.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, Joe, by staying true to your lanes. You know, that time Simmons was working middle of the field to the corner, and then he worked back. Once Chris Cuolo saw that he didn't have the lane there, Simmons tried to work back to the ball, and Chris Cuolo put it in the only place that really he could have gotten it, which was down low. If he hung that one up a little higher, that would have been intercepted. And now the real question is this third or fourth down? We don't have an eye. Maybe we'll get it on camera. I'm not sure if we have the sight line or if
the sticks are on the near sideline, and we really can't see them. I think they just got it, Dave. I think they just got it, but this could very well be fourth down. Motion man once again is Ward, joined in motion on the left side as they toss it to Adams. And Adams is stood up inside the 10-yard line at about the 8, pushed toward the boards, and the Bearcats offense is staying out there, which means this is fourth down coming up.
Yeah, and, you know, Joe, you made it a point. You made this point a lot of times last year where almost the deeper you get into the field here offensively, the more difficult it is to score. You're almost better served being 10, 15 yards back, at least in the passing game, because once you get in close there, there's just not a lot of real estate in the end zone. The end zones are only 8 yards, and obviously they're cut off at the corners as well. So really hard to work some timing routes. That time the Bearcats tried to use deception there on the run and the pitch. The pitch was a little low as well.
I've said it, as you mentioned, Dave, I find it just so hard to score down here in the passing game. It is really, really tough. And a lot of the time when teams do score this far in, it's on a very quick pass. It's very rare that a play is extended into a completion.
And the ball is at the 8-yard line.
Ward the motion man. Chris Kulo looking right, pumps, moving left now, running out of time, steps up, throws, end zone, and it is off the hands of Simmons. And the Bearcats come up empty on fourth down. They had the look, Dave. The ball just a bit high.
Yeah, it was a bit high, but Chris Cuolo, I think, delivered it really how he wanted it to. He was trying to navigate the line of scrimmage. I think if you ask Simmons, he would like to have that one. We'll see if we get a replay of it in just a moment. But Simmons did try to extend. It went off of his fingertips, and we'll just see. You know, he's working back. Chris Cuolo buying his own time. He was certainly behind the line of scrimmage, and yeah, just a little bit too elevated for Simmons. Didn't get the elevation he wanted, but that's a good hold by the War Eagles here early in this one.
And that goes to show you how important it is not to let that big play go for 6. When the big play goes for 6, it doesn't give your defense an opportunity to make that stand down around the goal line. That opportunity is critical to slowing down this Jersey offense.
All right, so War Eagles take over at the 8-yard line.
2 men in motion for the War Eagles. They look to throw on their first offensive snap. Forced to run now is Gruden. Down he goes, out across the 10. He took a big hit at the end of that play.
Yeah, he got about 3 or 4 yards on the play, but again, he did what he had to do, kept the ball in safe hands, his own. And the Bearcats did a nice job there. You know, Joey Ramirez was kind of, you know, working lateral to the line of scrimmage, didn't want to get too ahead of the play, kept Gruden in front of him, and was able to make the stop. We'll have a timeout at the 5-minute mark. We've been told we have 8:20 to go in this first quarter.
Second down for the War Eagles. They're lined up on the right side of the field here following the tackle of Gruden. 2 men in motion once again. The throw goes wide out to the left, and it is sailed high over Aaron Olds.
Yeah, so Olds was working in that soft underneath of the coverage, right about where the first down marker was. And again, the pass too elevated. And you give credit to the Bearcats up front, you know, getting those hands up and getting those bodies there. It forced Gruden to look up high and beyond the reach of Olds. Third down.
Well, a chance here for the Jersey defense early. We've seen how hard it is to try and kick it away in this facility, as I just can't get over the music over public address right now. It is youth night, and Dragon Tales is playing.
I think it's because when Maryland gets the ball, they're trying to psych them out with the pump-up music.
Well, they got me.
Oh.
I have a job to do here. You can't be playing hits from my childhood.
War Eagles, Dragons, there's a little bit
There's a parallel there, you think?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Pre-snap motion once again on third down. Gruden looking to his left, throws right, and incomplete into the boards. And that was a very dangerous throw as Gruden was under pressure and didn't have much of a choice but to get rid of that ball.
Gruden got absolutely demolished on that play by Joey Ramirez and maybe another one in the backfield. We're going to get another look at it, Joe, but watch the hit that Gruden takes right there. We caught just the end of it there. But, wow, he got slammed. And it's fourth down here, Joe. So I think the first down marker should be at about the 17, 18-yard line. The ball is spotted at the 8. So we're looking at a fourth down and 9 here. That's a big play early in this one.
The official was telling one of the Bearcats to back up, it looked like, ahead of this fourth down snap. Once again, 2 men in motion.
Yeah, they were well ahead of the play.
Comes out.
Yeah, that's the danger with those 2 men in motion, Joe, is you get guys who sometimes are 2 and 3 yards up the field by the time you snap it if you don't time it right. And that time I think that both Aaron Olds and the other wideout on the play wearing number 2, they were both offside.
And if the War Eagles don't convert here, the Bearcats are right back on the goal line again.
First and goal.
Basically right where they failed on fourth down at about the 5.
Yeah, just inside the 5-yard line is where it's spotted here. And if you're the Bearcats, you could keep the ball in front of you here. If you're the secondary, you just got to have the short tackling once the ball is caught.
It is not easy to complete a pass past the sticks in this spot. Pre-snap motion again, and another pre-snap penalty as well. Looks like it's the Bearcats this time.
Musa O'Day crept up to the line of scrimmage, and I think he might have made contact with the receiver. And so we'll redo it again. Only 5 yards up the field, or half the distance up, about 4 yards.
Well, those are 5 big yards. It makes it a lot easier when there's no risk of being tackled in your own end zone. But still backed up pretty deep are the War Eagles, and once again, it will be 4th and 9.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
3 receivers lining up to the left of Gruden here. 2 very deep in the offensive backfield. Both of those receivers in motion. Gruden looking that way, throws to his left, and it's tipped incomplete. O'Day making up for that last penalty with the pass deflection.
What a great play by O'Day, Joe, because he did 2 things. He actually checked the wide receiver who was already in motion. He got blasted to the ground, and then he made the deflection. What a play by Musa O'Day, the Detroit native, coming up big time on this Bearcats defense on 4th down. I missed the replay, but you got a chance to see it. And, yeah, Bearcats take over. 2 good defensive stands by both of these teams. Look at the job right there. Chuck, come back, swat.
Now the question is, if they had completed that pass, was it enough for a first down? It was going to be very, very close.
Yeah, I believe they probably would have had it, but that's a nice play, heads-up play.
Another chance for Jersey here inside the 15-yard line. Chris Kulo at quarterback once again, Ward in motion. Chris Kulo looking to the right, completes that pass, and the tackle is made. It appears just inside the 10.
Yeah, that was Washington on the catch, Joe, number 19. He's a big playmaker down the field. We might have a timeout here, and we do.
All right, I thought we were going to have one before that last play, but instead, with our first media timeout of this opening quarter, and while we have a break in the action, we want to remind you that this first quarter is brought to you by Pinho's Bakery, located at 1027 Chestnut Street in Roselle, New Jersey. Pinho's is your prime stop for specialty cakes and pastries, as well as deli delights. Always fresh and made to order, our family-owned shop prides itself on bringing our kitchen into your homes and your heart. Pinho's is where family, tradition, and goodness is a daily thing. Visit us at 1027 Chestnut Street in Roselle or online at www.pinhosbakery.net. Thank you to our friends at Pinho's.
Yeah, and the what they're doing here on the field is they're trying to kick a field goal, Joe. Some of our youth players, this is youth night here, and they are going to move up a little bit for these guys, and the winner will get a free gift courtesy of the Bearcats. But part of these promotions are thanks to our incredible sponsors here. They help get these broadcasts on the air. They help to make sure that the Bearcats can host these great events. So a special thank you to our friends at Pino's, and of course we have Youth Night that's sponsored by Riff.
Every Jersey Bearcats home game has a theme, and as you mentioned, Dave, it is Youth Night at Waranenko. Not only is there plenty for the kids to do, but Youth Night is also presented by Riff. You saw Riff on your screen just moments ago. Reading is fundamental. Riff's slogan is until every child reads, and that is the mission it lives by every day. Tonight, all of our youths in attendance are receiving a free book courtesy of Riff. And for teachers, discover the breadth of Riff's professional development opportunities and enhance your classroom instruction. With an emphasis on a personalized and evidence-based approach, educators and reading specialists are invited to explore Riff's offerings to support your efforts to drive student literacy outcomes. Learn more at riff.org. Thank you to our friends at Riff. And Dave, I've said it before, when it comes to the youth trying to kick field goals and fans trying to kick field goals, it can take a very, very, very long time to get one through those uprights.
They got to move that. They got to move that tee up a little bit, Joe. I think maybe every 5 yards. They might want to work it every 10 yards, but
they need to start this contest at the 5.
Absolutely, and that's where it is now. You got John down there with the Bearcat staff doing a great job here. The Jermaine Sanders, co-owner of the AAL2 and the Jersey Bearcats, making it a fan-friendly experience. So although we do appreciate you guys watching us here on the PDF, if you are in the neighborhood in Roselle, this is the place to be. And we thank you to our friends at Pino's and Riff. And we have a lot more sponsor reads coming up a little bit later on in this game as well. But it's thanks to them that we get to bring you this game.
When the action resumes, there will be 3 minutes and 9 seconds to go in the opening quarter. The clock begins to run at that mark, and the Bearcats have a second down coming up as the clock is stopped again. The Bearcats were stopped down at the goal line on their opening drive. The War Eagles then went 4 and out, thanks in large part to a huge play on 4th down by Musa O'Day. Once again, Chris Crisculo at quarterback. He will send Kyle Ward in motion along with Simmons, and Ward takes the handoff. He's pushed out at about the 3 as he goes hard into the glass.
Yep, that's tough when you get hit into those boards, just like in hockey. But that was a nice job to cut off the angle by Mike Baker. Josh Holly was in the area as well. And again, the Bearcats do want to go quickly here. After that long timeout, they probably called a couple of plays in that huddle. This is 3rd and goal, however.
This time, Crisculo flanked by Adams in the offensive backfield. Ward in motion as Adams takes the handoff up the middle, reaches for the goal line, and the signal is touchdown. Bearcats on the board for the first time tonight.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was that extension of the ball by Adams that did it or if it was that second effort. Either way, Naz Adams runs with a purpose. He is a 3-year veteran of this team, and he gets the Bearcats on the board early here. 1:40 to go in the first, I should say late in this first quarter. And it looks like they'll go for 1 here on the point after.
And I think that reach is indeed what got it, Dave. He may have just broken the plane with the ball on the way down after reaching, but reaching for that goal line ensured that he would get the end zone there. And the Bearcats lead it 6-0. As you mentioned, they will kick. Anthony Storego, left-footed kicker for Jersey, and he puts that one off the upright, no good. And Storego ended up down on the turf as well after that kick.
Yeah, maybe we'll get another look at how that happened. But, yeah, just missed it off of the upright. There was a rush that was coming in. But, you know, Joe, that's a good confidence booster for the Bearcats because when they needed it, oh, it looks like his own man. Yeah, tripped him up. Yep. But when they've needed it, Joe, they went to the run twice on that drive. They went to the pass the first time, incomplete. Complete in the flat, minimal gain, and then they go back to the run 2 times. So that just shows you a little bit of the character of this Bearcats team. You know, they don't get out of themselves. You know what they want to do. They keep their identity, and they don't mind grinding it out and getting those hard touchdowns and getting those hard yards inside the 5.
And something that I've mentioned about the Bearcats in the past is that when they do get in the red zone, they are so effective in large part because of Nas Adams. He is a back that is so difficult to stop in the red zone. And I think if you're the Bearcats, it was important after that first drive where they were stopped down around the goal line not to get away from that game plan of pounding the rock down around the end zone. They did so on that last drive and were rewarded for their efforts as Adams scores. Starego's kickoff scooped up by Kadeem Bailey. He works his way toward the near side and is brought down on a nice tackle by Ashton Barnes.
Yeah, nice job by Barnes. Again, stay disciplined, stay in your lane. Make sure you gobble up that, comeback over to the middle of the field. So good job by Barnes. And, Joe, you mentioned Nas Adams. This was actually a 2-headed monster as we get another chance to see that return and probably what could have been if not for the tackle of Barnes. But the first couple of weeks of the season, the Bearcats had a 2-back attack with Aaron Brown, number 44. But Brown suffered an injury and is out for what we believe could be the remainder of the season. That was a big blow for this Bearcats team because Brown had a touchdown receiving, a touchdown rushing in the first game against the Roughnecks, but he really plays defense on the defensive line, is a great pass rusher, had a fumble recovery as well, and that's a big loss for the Bearcats.
It is now War Eagles football trailing by 6, and they will pitch it. Big hit in the backfield, and unable to spin away was Singleton. 5 Bearcats in there for the tackle.
Hats to the ball, we mentioned it, and that is the end of the first quarter, and what an end for the Bearcats.
A big defensive play for Jersey to close out the first.
We're going to throw it downstairs, Joe, in just a moment to Cameron Williams. Cameron, you're up.
Welcome, guys. The Bearcats are up 6-0 here. They're going to have to rely on the run game the whole rest of the game. 6-0 here. They're relying on the run game. Nas Adams with a big rushing touchdown. The rushing has been their key to success so far. Defense has been holding it down. They end the first quarter with a sack. Back up to Dave and Joe. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Cameron, who is our sideline reporter. Will be joining us between each quarter tonight. And we'll conduct some additional interviews at halftime with the Lady Bearcats as well. So we look forward to that during our halftime break. Huge play by the Bearcats defense to close out that first quarter as the Lady Bearcats have taken to the field here. But, Dave, we mentioned it, this Jersey offense capable of so many big plays. The defense, however, we touched on it during the pregame, and that defense for Jersey also capable of some big plays. And that play that ended the first quarter developed just a bit slowly, and that delay allowed that defensive front to make the read. And you could see by the footwork of the back, it sort of telegraphed that pitch that was coming. And when you're going up against a defensive front like the Bearcats, taking that kind of time to get the ball into the hands of the back often will end, just as we saw it there with 5 black jerseys around the football.
Yeah, and it's a nightmare for any running back, Joe, to get the pitch. And then as soon as you get the pitch, there's a defender on top of you. You really have no chance to make a move, to go right, to go left, to pivot, to spin out of it. There's just nothing you could do as a running back there. Kudos to number 12, Willie Garner, for getting in there in the backfield. And then, just like the Bearcats do, and just like we said during pregame, they are going to get hats to the football. They're not going to give up on plays. And that ended up being about an 8 to 9 yard loss on the play. So that's a huge play to open up this drive.
And if you're the War Eagles defensively, I think something that worked out for them was keeping the offensive field a bit shorter for Jersey. Typically, that's the opposite of what you'd want to do in a traditional game, but we've mentioned how hard it can be to score down around the end zone. And when Jersey only has that little bit of field to work with, it takes away the effectiveness of some of that pre-snap motion and some of those dynamic passing plays. The War Eagles came up with a stop on the opening drive, could not keep Nas Adams out of the end zone on drive number 2, but we did see some good things from Maryland in the first quarter. We're now looking for some good things on the offensive side of the ball, especially if you're a fan of the War Eagles.
Yep, I think officially that was a 7 yard loss, Joe, but absolutely going to climb themselves out of a hole.
Well, you can't afford negative plays against this Jersey defense, that's for sure. And we've seen a couple of those already. As Gruden will look to throw, he swings it out to his right. Singleton with the catch, breaks one tackle, works toward the sideline, fighting forward out across the 15. And that is where he is stood up. Give him the 16-yard line.
Yeah, you know what? That was a lot, Joe, for a 2-yard gain. So, you know, the Bearcats are really making them earn it there. They're leaving that pass in the flat open as an option, but Keemon Coleman doesn't make the tackle. But look, he comes back into the play, Joe, to finish the tackle, even though he missed the tackle at first. That's what this Bearcats team will do. Hats to the ball, never give up attitude, and that play looked like it might have had a good chance. Instead, it only gets 2 yards, and now it's 3rd down and about 15.
And it's very easy for a short 2-yard pass to turn into a big play if the defense bails too early. Singleton broke that tackle. If the defense bails too soon, he's racing up that sideline, and all of a sudden, he's now in a foot race to the end zone as they'll reapply some of the padding just short of midfield. But it will be 3rd down for the War Eagles, and if they were to go 4 and out again, giving Jersey a short field, that could spell trouble early in this game for a team that scored just 2 points last week.
And they really haven't thrown the ball down the field yet.
2 men in motion. The throw goes left, and it is off the fingertips of a number 2 who is not on our roster. No names on the back of those War Eagle uniforms, so unfortunately we do not know who the intended target was there. But Dave, there was certainly a chance for that play to go somewhere if that catch is made.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly a called screen, but it kind of was developing that way as well. And again, if that one is caught in stride, you get a chance to bring that to about midfield and cut your yards to go in half at the very least. Instead, it's 4th down and 15, and you get the sense that unless Hunter Gruden is going to put this ball up down the field, the War Eagles might have another 4 and out here.
They need about 7, it looks like, to pick up a 1st down.
No, more than that, yeah.
2 men in motion, pre-snap, flag out, throw downfield, caught! And a big hit into that padding. Tyler Jones able to hold on. We'll see if it stands.
It's very close to a 1st down. They might not have gotten it, Joe.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong marker.
Yeah, that's why. I said it was 15, not 7. Yeah, but yeah, I think they're short. And the ball will go back to the Bearcats if they are. But there was a flag here, and they're going to replay 4th down. Right, so you just take the 5 yards there and replay the down instead of taking the result of the play because you give up the ball.
So easy to lose the sticks in the bench along the near sideline. They lost.
They're going to give the result of the play was a 1st down, Joe. So
they got it.
Yeah, so they declined the penalty and took the result of the play. Although where the ball is spotted, that's not a 1st down, I don't believe.
Well, they have turned the sticks over to reflect 1st down. We'll see if they change their minds.
Yeah, at least where the stick was, but whatever. It's 1st and 10 for the War
Whatever
Eagles
he says.
At the 8. Well, we don't know because of the chain gang. We're not sure if those sticks were in the right place.
Well, I'm trying to think back. The kick return
21. It was at
came
the
out
21.
To 21.
So technically, the 1st down should be the 19. So they did get it because the ball is at the 18.
Here's one more look at it.
Yeah, that should be.
I might even give him the 17 on that, Dave.
But I think because the kickoff was returned to the 21, that's for sure.
Yeah,
without a doubt. That means the 1st down marker is now at the 19 of the Bearcats. But the marker itself was sitting at about the 15-yard line. That's what kind of made it a little wonky for us visually. And now they're trying to get it sorted. Now, see, they're getting actual players, youth players, to hold the markers. Because before it was just resting on the board, so we didn't know where the 1st down marker was.
And not only was it resting on the boards, but it was resting on the boards right in front of the Bearcats bench.
Right.
So
right.
I'm not saying they would, but
move it over a little bit.
You certainly could move it over a few feet, and all of a sudden, they're short. Though it looks like our youth football players are back to where they were previously.
I understand why, because there's no sidelines here, so they might get trampled if they stay there.
Well, we had a cameraman get trampled once.
Yes, we did. No more cameras on the field for us.
2 men in motion once again, and another pre-snap penalty. False start on the War Eagles.
Yeah, that was on J.J. Connell on the near side. We got a good look at it, but Yeah, these are, I want to say they're early season mistakes, but we're already kind of in mid-season here. And these are the kind of things you hate to see as a coaching staff, your team backing up simply because you can't get the snap off because of the timing of the motion. We take it for granted visually, Joe, here in the booth and on television, but it is really, really tough to sync that exactly so that you get the wide receiver in stride at the line of scrimmage when you hike the ball.
Well, as you said, part of what could be going on is some early season miscues. Obviously, it's week 3 now, but it gets late very quickly in the AAL2. And these are issues that need to be cleaned up sooner rather than later. Fortunately for the War Eagles, they are 1-1. It's not any time to panic as if they're 0-2, but it's a big swing game for them tonight. 2 men in motion once again. Gruden steps up through the pocket. He gets away. He's racing up the field. Gruden breaks a tackle, and he's brought down just shy of the 5. There is a flag down.
Late flag, as getting held up near the sideline was Willie Garner. He was pleading his case, and I think he might have gotten the benefits. That flag came out very, very late. And if it was a holding up the field, it'll be from the spot of the foul.
I think that's a personal foul, Dave, or perhaps a chop block?
Maybe.
The X?
Well, maybe we'll get another look at it. I don't know if we had the replay of that or not, but
what was easily the biggest play of the game is negated.
I want to keep our eye on number 12 here, Joe, Willie Garner. He was the one who was pinning case. It's really tough.
Oh, yeah. There it is.
From behind. Yeah, that was
completely unnecessary.
Joshua Butcher got him. Yeah, we saw Garner fly. That was right in front of the official, too. So.
You can't do that.
Right.
It was so unnecessary.
And it was from the spot of the foul, so it'll remain first down. And you're right, Nick is right, 20 yards, even.
The complexion of this drive completely changes now. First down and very long.
Timeout.
Whistle and a timeout called by the War Eagles here.
Yep, and a nice job by Coach Steeple to kind of settle his troops down. He knows it's a big moment of the game. There's 9:01 to go. And, this is a big drive for you. You got a nice first down. You got a nice run there. And on a play where you don't need to block from behind, they have to end up going backwards.
Some Arthur over the PA now during the timeout.
It's kind of name that tune for us. Got to go back in my memory bank for these guys.
The DJ is really aging himself. Yeah. Must have grown up around the same time as I did.
That's DJ Sparks, who has a commercial on PDF Sportsnet now.
And a custom jersey.
Yeah.
Where's our custom jersey?
We got to get one.
That's right.
Put that puppy in a frame and hang it up. Commemorate our...
PDF Sports on the back of a jersey.
Yeah. Commemorate our time with the Bearcats. Year 3 for us.
Once again, 2 men in motion for the War Eagles. Gruden looking downfield, now flush to his right, throws low and complete. Making that catch just shy of the 25 was Butcher.
Yeah, good job by Butcher to get down on the carpet, grab that one. Ends up being a pretty minimal gain here. We're looking at a 2nd and 16 coming up. But still, just a good job by the War Eagles to go forward. A good job by Gruden to roll out of pressure and find his open guy in the flat. That's the safety valve on the play for him, and your job is to find him if you get in trouble, and he did.
And something that's been a recurring theme for the War Eagles, their pass attempts have come from very far behind the line of scrimmage. So they've thrown for a lot of yards in the air, but their net gain, not much. They'll air it out again here. Throwing downfield, Gruden's pass tipped. Incomplete. The intended target, Tyler Jones.
Yeah, and that was great coverage by the Bearcats. Barry Turner got one mid on it as well. Almost thought he might be able to bring that one down. But that was really the first genuine throw down the field from Gruden. I know he had one earlier that got called back from a penalty, but 3rd down and 16 now. Good defensive play by the Bearcats. They can use another.
And you get the sense that the way the Bearcats defenders have been draped on these Maryland receivers, one of these War Eagles wideouts will have to win one-on-one down the field. They are going to have those opportunities one-on-one.
Or it's got to be something in stride, like a slant pattern where you're meeting the wide receiver during his route.
Quick throw is a screen pass out to the right, and a huge tackle on that play by Tariq Pusey.
That is a textbook tackle right there. When you teach tackling defensively, that's what you teach. wrap, lift, and get him to the ground. This is why Pusey should get himself an opportunity at a higher level of arena football. Just, you don't look to whack somebody with your shoulder pad, or everybody likes the sound of those hits. That's how you tackle. 4th and 14, Joe.
War Eagles looking to avoid giving it back to Jersey on downs again. Looking left and throwing that way was Gruden, but that throw was way upstairs.
Yeah, and it never would have had a chance, Joe. On 4th and 14, you're looking in the flat. Obviously, you're looking for your receiver on the play, Aaron Olds, to make a superhuman effort and get away. We'll see another look at it, but the Bearcats are going to be on top of that play no matter what, especially with Olds having to run back to make the catch. And so the Bearcats will get the ball back. I'm just not sure if there's a timeout on the field here, Joe, or not, but with half the field to go, get our first look at Mateo Rodriguez coming in.
So the Bearcats utilizing that dual quarterback approach once again. As Dave mentioned, Mateo Rodriguez in there for Jersey. Bearcats lead it by 6, clock running inside of 6 minutes to go in the first half. Rodriguez flanked by Adams. Sends 2 men in motion upfield. He looks right, he throws downfield, and that is caught by Kyle Ward at the 5-yard line.
Yeah, and you know what, Joe, if that pass was a little bit higher, maybe a little bit, leading Ward a little bit more, that is a touchdown. And A.J. Roquet knew it all the way. He had his hands up in the touchdown position as soon as the ball was snapped. 1st and goal.
Big play for Jersey. Handoff Adams up the middle. Flag in the secondary. And for now, Adams is in for a touchdown.
Yeah, that was thrown by the back judge, Joe, so we'll see.
And the signal is that it's against Maryland. That will be declined. And for the second time tonight, Nasir Adams finds the end zone.
He sure does. So the penalty is declined. And you see Adams at first was thinking about going left. Then he cut it up right in the middle of the field. And it's 12-0 in favor of the Bearcats. And we'll see if they go for 1 or 2. Now remember, Storego got banged up the last time he was out there. It looks like they will indeed go for 2 here, Joe.
And Storego, fortunately, did not get his ankle rolled up on. He was taken down from behind, but I did not see his ankle roll, so that's good news for him. And we do have a timeout on the field here in the second quarter, so with this timeout in the second, it is all about fitness. There are going to be some on-field contestants doing their thing, and it is sponsored by Infinite Athletic Training located in Piscataway, New Jersey. They're also part of our second quarter giveaway at Rarenanko, the Electrolyte Boost. Imagine hydration, but without the water. Get your performance back on track. Get boosted with the Electrolyte Boost. For samples, fundraising for your team, or to purchase packets, contact Jermaine Sanders, co-owner of the Jersey Bearcats, at 201-667-6374, or email at jerseybearcatsarenafootball@gmail.com. And let's make sure we stay fit after all these great snacks at Warananko with Infinite Athletic Training. www.infiniteathletictraining.com.
Yeah, we had the kids doing their push-ups, Joe. So maybe got some tips from Infinite Athletic Training. And the timeout came with 4:40 remaining in the second quarter as we get our timeout inside of 5 minutes to go. And it gives the Bearcats a chance to dial up this play here for what could be a 2-point conversion. Oh, look at that. We almost had a T-shirt thrown our way, Joe. It lost some gusto as it made its way towards us.
We did receive T-shirts a year or two back, brick by brick. I still have mine. Should have broke it out tonight.
Yeah. Well, we need it. It's hot in here.
It's an often-used gym shirt, repping the Jersey Bearcats as I get to work on my fitness.
Yes.
I'm going to have to save that phone number.
I'm glad one of us is.
I'm ready for the Electrolyte Boost. 2-point conversion attempt here for Jersey. They lead 12-0. Two receivers deep in the offensive backfield, both in motion. Rodriguez floats one over the middle, and that is knocked down. Good job there by Singleton not to be fooled on the screen pass.
Yeah, Singleton a part of the offense and defense there, and they were prepared for that screen, and it remains 12-0. And, you know, the Bearcats have the 2-score lead, but at the same time, you know, they've missed the point, the conversions. And, Joe, it's something, you know, we say it every game. We don't mention it often enough during pregame, but special teams is a big part of these games between the 1 and the 2-point conversions. And sometimes they rear their ugly head. Let's hope the Bearcats, it doesn't cost them later on.
Well, the War Eagles have to score to make it hurt. And thus far, the Jersey defense has stood strong. And I mentioned it before, the War Eagles have had a couple of negative plays that have really slowed them down offensively. And as I mentioned on the last drive, a lot of their pass attempts have come from very deep in the offensive backfield. Quarterback Hunter Gruden forced to roll out, forced to scramble away from pressure. That takes you a bit further behind the line of scrimmage, and all of a sudden you're completing a pass, maybe 10 or 15 yards in the air, that goes for a net gain of 5 yards or even less. Kickoff ends up off the board, scooped up on a fly by Tyler Jones, and he's out across midfield. So good starting field position here for Maryland, looking to get on the board for the first time in the closing minutes of half number 1.
Yeah, that was a really heads-up play by Jones as well, Joe, to play that off the glass, because otherwise, if that falls to the turf, it's anybody's football, and the Bearcats looked like they were going to be in prime position to maybe grab it. Look at it right there, boom, off the carpet. It came up, and Jones was in the right place at the right time, bearing down on that ball. And for the second time in this half, Joe, they're on the Bearcats, or I thought they were on the Bearcats side of the field. The ball's exactly at midfield here. But, you know, this is a big moment in the game for them because, you know, they could well utilize the last 3 minutes here. Remember, the clock does stop inside of a minute. But if they give the ball back here to the Bearcats without having scored, they're going to put themselves behind the 8 ball here.
I think if you're Maryland, the goal is to go into half trailing by 1 score, as they did not snap that ball nearly in time. The 2 receivers were about 5-6 yards down the field.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of times if you're 1 or a couple of steps over the line, the referees will let it go, but Connell was a good 3 yards down the field. And I think on every single drive that this Maryland team has been on, they've had 1, if not 2 of those flags. And it's caused this, 1st and 15.
Well, they've put themselves behind the 8 ball time and time again, moving backwards with the pre-snap penalties, and they've had a couple of plays go for big losses. It's been a tumultuous first half offensively, as you get a look there when that snap came, and both receivers well beyond the line of scrimmage, no question about that one. Meanwhile, looking outside, it is a torrential downpour out there right now. So we are very fortunate to be within the confines of the Warenenko Sports Arena, perhaps not so fortunate during our exit later.
Hopefully it gets it out of its system, Mother Nature, and allows us to get home safe.
Under 2 minutes to go now in the first half. Once again, 2 men in motion for Maryland. They look to throw, and Gruden ran out of time. And you could see it, Dave. Pre-snap motion from the wideout along the near side. That was J.J. Connell. He had to stop at the line of scrimmage and wait for the snap. That mismatch in the timing really disrupts the play call and makes it almost impossible to get him the ball.
Yeah, and Gruden really had to essentially throw that one away, Joe. I think he purposely misfired there because you have Jaleel Taylor almost on top of you, and then if he does make that catch, Elijah McKenzie is waiting to just light him up about 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So, you know, I think he threw that away almost on purpose there, and now it's 2nd and 15 as we close in on the 1 minute warning.
Well, even if you don't score here, if you're Maryland, you cannot allow Jersey to score again.
Right.
And there's just over a minute to go now in the half. Once again, 2 receivers in motion. That a well-timed snap. Throw over the middle is complete. It was briefly juggled as a flag comes out at the end of the play.
Yeah, it does at the very end. I was blocked by the speaker, so I couldn't really see what happened on the tackle. It's one of the few downfield throws that we've seen from Gruden with any sort of time.
All right, so the X is personal foul, and then the signal for what the foul was comes next. It was a face mask.
Okay.
And it was against the Bearcats. So with that, Maryland moves up 15. And all of a sudden, they're within range of a big score to close out this first half.
Right. Now, it was not an automatic first down, though, Joe, too. So it's second down and maybe 3 or 4 here. Looks like 3 as the first down markers at the 15.
15 didn't get them a first down?
No, because they were backed up. Wow. I guess they probably should have.
I thought so.
Because it was first and 15. But
they're very close. Once again, 2 receivers in motion. Gruden looks downfield, throwing end zone. Nobody home.
Yeah, I think Connell got caught up with the Bearcats number 24. We do not have on our roster. It must be somebody else's jersey. But, yeah, it looked like they got held up there on the board. It's tough to read there. But Connell's just breaking out there.
Looked like he was boxed out of making a cut to the middle of the field.
Yeah.
And you can definitely use the boards as an extra man. You stay on the inside of a receiver and work him toward that glass. Sometimes you don't make it out of that area.
It's third down and 3 now.
Big play here for Maryland. You'd hate to give Jersey a chance to get it back on 4th. Obviously 4 down territory, 2 receivers in motion. Gruden, short swing pass. Out of the backfield, making a move upfield was Butcher.
Short.
And based on where the referee is, Dave, I thought maybe he got it. Now, you have a stick there with the 3 and then one more further down the field.
Right. Well, remember, the kickoff was returned and it was spotted at the 25. So the 15 has to be the first down. And that is clearly 2 yards short of the 15. So it's 4th down. Now, the Bearcats have called timeout, Joe. So otherwise, the clock would have continued to run with 33 seconds left. So the Bearcats, sensing that they can get a stop here, will still have time to do something, have called a timeout.
The wheels on the bus are turning. My brain is scrambled. It's hard to collect my thoughts with these tracks. Well, you need the wipers today. The wipers are going swish, swish, swish.
Maybe not anymore as we see
that is true.
The clouds break and the sun is out. We don't get a really good idea of what's going on outside, but we do see that the sun has crept out. It's been that kind of day.
Let's keep it that way upon our exit. It is going to be 4th down here for Maryland. We are still awaiting that snap.
And if the Maryland War Eagles do not get the first, the clock automatically stops due to change of possession. So the Bearcats will have a nice opportunity here. First things first, you got to get the first down.
4th down, Maryland. 1 man in motion. High snap brought in. Gruden looks downfield, throwing end zone, incomplete. 3 Bearcats in the area. The War Eagles wanted a flag. They do not get one, and it will be a turnover on downs.
Yeah, and isn't it interesting, Joe, that they did have Joshua Butcher in the flat hanging out near the first down marker, wide open. There's Butcher right in your screen. And he's like, why are you not throwing the ball to me? I was at the first down marker. Said they went for the home run. They come up empty, and here we go. 29.4 seconds left. The Bearcats have the ball. To our knowledge, they have 2 timeouts left. They did take 1. And I think, you know, Joe, we've seen 29 seconds is plenty of time.
An eternity.
Right.
An eternity.
To get a drive here, and it will continue to be Rodriguez at the helm.
If you're Maryland, you have to keep the Bearcats receivers in front of you. You cannot afford to give up a score here. Once again, it is Rodriguez at quarterback. He looks to his left, sends 2 men in motion. He looks to throw that way. Now steps up and takes off. Headed for the sideline and into the boards. Clock running at 21 seconds.
He gave himself up out of bounds. The clock should stop, and now it does.
Okay, well.
Yeah, inside of a minute, it has to stop.
Will they put a second or 2 on?
I doubt it.
Okay.
And it is a first down, so he did get enough for the first.
And that's important here, knowing that you have that first down in your pocket already. You don't need to worry about picking up a yard or 2 with one of these next couple of plays. .9 on the clock here in Warenenko. And if Jersey scores here, they take a comfortable 3-possession lead. If they do not score, then a War Eagles touchdown to begin the second half could make it a 1-possession game. So a really big swing could come from this drive, or perhaps the first drive of the third, if points go up on the board.
Right.
1st and 10 Jersey. 2 receivers to the left of Rodriguez, 1 receiver wide to the right. 2 men in motion. Rodriguez looking downfield, now forced to scramble, throwing, complete, and into the boards goes Kyle Ward. First down, Bearcats, with 14.3 to go.
Yeah, and you see how Rodriguez stepping up in the pocket. He's got the motor, and he's a threat to run, and he kind of caught the eye of the defensive line there. He's able to make himself some more time than he needs, and he finds Ward coming out over the middle. See how the linebacker stepped up there to meet Rodriguez instead of playing the angle on Ward. And with 14.3 to go, still an eternity here. Now it's 1st and goal for the Bearcats at the 7-yard line. This is where they've relied on the run here, which is kind of off the table here, at least to go back to it continuously. They might be able to do it once, maybe call a timeout.
They do have 2 timeouts remaining if they choose to utilize the run, but they will throw. Rodriguez over the middle, incomplete.
Yeah, that came in smoking hot, and it did go through Kyle Ward, who was coming over the middle there, but he might have caught it late, but that one just whizzed through his open hands.
And it looked like a good throw. I think it went straight through the arms of Ward.
Yeah,
and into the glass.
Yeah, and again, it's another one that, if you're Ward, you're saying, I should have had that. Matt, if you're Mateo, you're saying probably could have put that better for you, but either way, it'll be 2nd down now with 10.3 seconds to go.
Well, I mentioned it when the drive started. If you're Maryland, priority number 1 was keep the Jersey receivers in front of you. They did that, and now the Bearcats have to score in close again. They're 1 for 2, I guess 2 for 3 effectively in these situations tonight. They did set up another close quarter situation with a big completion. So
I'd expect Rodriguez to run once with it, Joe. We'll see what happens.
10.3 on the clock. Simmons Jr., the motion man. Rodriguez looking. Has a clean pocket and a completion for a Bearcats touchdown.
That was Simmons with the catch, Joe, and that touchdown was a product of the time that Rodriguez had in the pocket. We could give Rodriguez all the credit in the world for the great throw, Simmons for the great route, but if you don't have time to throw, this is never going to happen. And eventually, when you're able to scan 1, 2, 3, and 4 different receivers on a single read, you're going to have success. And with 5.8 seconds to go, it is now a 3-score game. And Chris Culo is back in to hold for Storigo. So Storigo back in the game. That's a good sign for the Bearcats.
Yeah, fortunately for him, I think he avoided what often can be a rolled ankle as the snap was muffed. Chris Culo throwing, and there were some eligible receivers in the area there, but a lot of traffic as well. Pair of blue jerseys incomplete on that attempt. And with 5.8 to go, barring a big special teams player, perhaps a home run on offense, we will head to the half with a 3-score game. And if you're Maryland, this is exactly what you needed to avoid entering your previous offensive drive. They had the opportunity to bleed out the rest of the clock, maybe even to score and make it a 1-possession game. They did neither, and the Bearcats took full advantage.
Yeah, and I don't know how much of a factor it plays, Joe, but when you're continuously starting drives 1st and 15, 1st and 20, it just takes its toll on you. And every time that's happened with the War Eagles, they have not been able to get the first down as a result of an extended, 1st and long situation. And so that's something that in the locker room they need to clean up. That's mission number 1. Forget about the score. You're down by 3 scores anyway. You've got to find a way to keep the sticks in front of you and, not hurt yourself. And, we even said it during the pregame. Turnovers and penalties. And right now, there have been no turnovers, but the penalties have just been lopsided at this point.
And the defense has done a good enough job. They haven't given up that critical home run play for a touchdown. The Bearcats did hit the one big completion to Ward, and that certainly could have gone for a touchdown with a pass a bit further out in front of him.
Timeout has been called by the Bearcats. They have 2 in their pocket, and they had some personnel issues there. I think Coach K wanted another player out on the line. And again, when, these are the kind of plays that aren't practiced as much, you could say, Joe, during a normal practice. And so it's a big kickoff here with 5.8 to go, because if the War Eagles return to the house, well, cancels out what they just gave up.
As the kicking team, your task here, keep Maryland out of the end zone. As this one skips into the arms of the return man, Jones up the middle of the field is taken down with 2.6 to go.
Okay, so there's a chance here. The ball's going to be spotted inside the 20-yard line of the Bearcats. This is the 3rd time in the game that the War Eagles have had the ball in Bearcats territory. And needless to say, this will be the final play of the half, barring a defensive foul.
Well, if you're Maryland coming out in the second half, you need to correct some issues. Are there any adjustments you can make to your play calling or to what you're doing offensively to get going? Because at times the opportunities for completions have been there. More specifically on that 4th down, you check that down, you have the first. However, you need to strike that balance between downfield threat and checking the ball down when appropriate.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was because they lost 7 yards on their very first play, Joe, but they haven't run a running play since that play. And I don't know if that takes them out of who they are, but they've become a very one-dimensional team. It's been pass only at this point, as we have another timeout, this one by Maryland, of course, getting a chance to see how the Bearcats are lined up defensively here. They'll try to attack it on this final play, but I think that's something. Now, not having seen Maryland play their first 2 games, I don't know if running the football is a huge part of what they do, but they've only run the 1 running play. It went for -7, and it was kind of an ugly-looking play from the start. But you wonder if maybe that softens up the Bearcats a little bit up front, maybe gets their corners cheating up a little bit, and then you can use a little bit of play action in the second half. But otherwise, it's been a very one-dimensional offensive team for Maryland, and really aside from 1 pass down the middle of the field, everything has been in the periphery for Gruden, and, the Bearcats have been up to the task.
They had 1 completion down the field, and that's been about it.
Yeah.
In terms of big plays, as you said, they can really change the narrative with 1 big play right here. 2.6 to go in the half. The man in motion was Jones. Gruden looking downfield, and that pass is intercepted in the end zone. Chance for a run back here. Juke inside. Archer, and he is finally
They're going for the ball. It's
stood
out.
up, and the ball was ripped out. That ball came loose in traffic. It ended up in the arms of another Bearcat, and fortunately so. I think it was Joey Ramirez who ended up with the ball.
Yeah, a little adventure there to end things.
Yeah, a bit of a precarious moment there for Jersey as we get one more look. And you can see it, Dave. It has been a nightmare for these Maryland receivers to get off the press along the sideline. But Cameron out on the field, joined by head coach A.J. Roque. So we'll throw it down to Cameron.
Here, Coach AJ, you guys are up 18-0 so far in the first half. What has been your key to success thus far?
Just maintaining efficiency on offense. That's it. Just taking it, play by play.
Nas Adams has had 2 rushing touchdowns thus far. Will you guys continue to utilize the run game this heavy?
Absolutely.
And now you guys have Chris Kulo starting the game off as quarterback, but Mateo Rodriguez comes right in and throws an absolute dart down the field. Will he be in for the rest of the game?
No, we'll switch again. We got 2 guys who can run the offense, and along with the receivers as well. We're going to switch in and out, and we'll be 1. Right? There's no starter. There's no 1s, 2s. Everybody's 1, and when you're 1, you can't be stopped.
Absolutely. Last thing here, how have you guys used the penalties from the War Eagles? They've had a lot wrapped around them. How have you used that to your advantage thus far?
I mean, pushing them back, right? And then we end up getting short field on offense. So, it works in our advantage.
Thank you very much. Bearcats are up 18-0. We'll send you back. Thank you. Back to you guys.
All right, Cameron, thank you. Once again, that is Bearcats head coach and co-owner A.J. Roque joining Cameron down on the field. His Bearcats lead at halftime by a score of 18-0. We'll be right back with more from our halftime show, including Cameron's conversation with the Lady Bearcats coming up next.
burgers are better at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
My weekend starts with the Brownstone Burger, topped with cheddar, barbecue sauce, and a fried egg.
Give me the Hawaiian burger. I love the Canadian bacon and sweet pineapple.
How do you like your salads? Shrimp, chicken, beef?
Stop in and see why families are eating good at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone. This fall, NSC Apparel has you covered. We have top quality uniforms with unlimited customization and great pricing. The Supersonic uniform has pro level fabrics and embroidery, and the Sonic Speed uniform lends itself perfectly for full body designs. We also offer fan jerseys for the perfect fundraiser. Let us make you the best dressed team on the field this fall. NSC Apparel, official uniform provider of the Bearcats and the AAL2.
Today's game is presented by Total Performance Bodywork with Dave Riemann. Dave is a body worker, licensed massage therapist, and strength and movement coach. He's combined his wide variety of expertise into a system that he calls Total Performance Bodywork. Trusted by professional athletes and bodybuilders, Dave has been helping people to recover from new and old injuries, improve their breathing efficiency, athletic performance, mobility, flexibility, and their overall strength. Visit Total Performance Bodywork at totalperformancebodywork.com or contact Dave by calling 610-570-7480 or email Dave Riemann at rcn.com.
KKT InvestStars is now a proud sponsor of the Jersey Bearcats and the AAL2. No matter what needs you have, F. Tarkin Jones will develop the right solution for you. See for yourself the star treatment you will get with KKT, InvestStars LLC. Call today at 201-290-4802 and be a star, just like the Bearcats.
The Jersey Bearcats are proud to welcome the sounds of DJ Sparks for the 2025 football season. As heard on Blazing 98.5 FM, DJ Sparks is perfect for nightclubs, concerts, corporate and sporting events. Bringing the party to you. The best sounds and the best time with DJ Sparks. Contact DJ Sparks on social media, email, or by phone, and let's get the party started. DJ Sparks, proud supporter of the Jersey Bearcats.
The Jersey Bearcats are back for another exciting season of AAL2 Arena football. Get on board with us and follow us all year long. For information on our donations, sponsorships, and game day, and ticket information, please contact us at Jersey Bearcats Arena Football at gmail.com.
Attention local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
It is halftime here at the Waranenko Sports Arena. Joe Foreman rejoining you at halftime of this AAL2 matchup between the Jersey Bearcats and the Maryland War Eagles. As promised, our colleague Cameron Williams is joined by the Lady Bearcats for a special halftime interview. We'll throw it down to Cameron right here.
Hello, I'm here with Isabella. So, Isabella, what got you into dancing and cheerleading?
I got into dancing when I was like 4 years old. I took studio classes at my local studio, and I just kept with it for so many years, and then took on college and even pro style dance after that.
And how did you get into with the Jersey Bearcats?
The Jersey Bearcats, I saw their season last year on social media. I had a friend that was also on the team last season, and she reached out to me and said, "Are you interested in trying out?" And I said, "Absolutely." I saw their social media. It looked really cool and fun, and I just wanted a way to keep dancing.
Awesome, love it. And what's the preparation going like into a week before game day?
We have had a long week preparation before game day. We had some Zoom calls where we practiced going over our routines. We had about 3 in-person rehearsals, like hours on end. We've been putting in the work, so we hope that you guys like what we put together for today.
Love it. Thank you very much. Back to Dave and Joe in the booth. I'm here with Olivia from the Jersey Bearcats cheerleading dance team. What got you into cheerleading and dance?
What got me into cheerleading and dance was my mom. I actually wanted to quit many times, but she kept me going, and honestly, it was the best decision she ever did. I love it so much. It makes me so happy. It's such a fun thing to come to after a stressful day, too.
And what is your favorite part about cheerleading and dancing?
My favorite part about cheerleading and dancing is the way it makes me feel. I love performing, and I love feeling the connection between me and the crowd.
And what's the best part about cheerleading and dancing for the Jersey Bearcats?
The best part about cheerleading and dancing for the Jersey Bearcats is the connections and how awesome everyone here is. It's really a dream come true to be on this team. Really just the connections and how much I'm growing on this team as well.
Thank you very much. Back to Dave and Joe in the booth.
All right, thank you, Cameron, and thank you to the Lady Bearcats for joining us during halftime. As for the Jersey Bearcats on the field tonight, they lead it 18-0 with under a minute to go on the clock before the start of the second half. Longer than that, the War Eagles are in the locker room right now, so we will step aside for one more quick break. When we come back, start of the third quarter from the Waranenko Sports Arena.
The Jersey Bearcats are proud to welcome the sounds of DJ Sparks for the 2025 football season. As heard on Blazing 98.5 FM, DJ Sparks is perfect for nightclubs, concerts, corporate and sporting events. Bringing the party to you. The best sounds and the best time with DJ Sparks. Contact DJ Sparks on social media, email, or by phone, and let's get the party started. DJ Sparks, proud supporter of the Jersey Bearcats.
This fall, NSC Apparel has you covered. We have top quality uniforms with unlimited customization and great pricing. The Supersonic uniform has pro level fabrics and embroidery, and the Sonic Speed uniform lends itself perfectly for full body designs. We also offer fan jerseys for the perfect fundraiser. Let us make you the best dressed team on the field this fall. NSC Apparel, official uniform provider of the Bearcats in the AAL2.
Burgers are better at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
My weekend starts with the Brownstone burger, topped with cheddar, barbecue sauce, and a fried egg.
Give me the Hawaiian burger. I love the Canadian bacon and sweet pineapple.
How do you like your salads? Shrimp, chicken, beef?
Stop in and see why families are eating good at the Brownstone in Metuchen.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
We'll meet you at the Brownstone.
The Jersey Bearcats are back for another exciting season of AAL2 Arena football. Get on board with us and follow us all year long. For information on our donations, sponsorships, and game day, and ticket information, please contact us at Jersey Bearcats Arena Football at gmail.com.
KKT, InvestStars is now a proud sponsor of the Jersey Bearcats and the AAL2. No matter what needs you have, F. Tarkin Jones will develop the right solution for you. See for yourself the star treatment you will get with KKT, InvestStars LLC. Call today at 201-290-4802 and be a star, just like the Bearcats.
Today's game is presented by Total Performance Bodywork with Dave Riemann. Dave is a body worker, licensed massage therapist, and strength and movement coach. He's combined his wide variety of expertise into a system that he calls Total Performance Bodywork. Trusted by professional athletes and bodybuilders, Dave has been helping people to recover from new and old injuries, improve their breathing efficiency, athletic performance, mobility, flexibility, and their overall strength. Visit Total Performance Bodywork at totalperformancebodywork.com or contact Dave by calling 610-570-7480 or email Dave Riemann at rcn.com.
We are back from the Warenenko Sports Arena, where thanks to our great sponsor, Pino's, we have the famous custard cups. They were fantastic. I dabbled more than I should. I probably should have stayed away, but they're as good as they look. Check out Pino's, a great sponsor of the Jersey Bearcats and our broadcast here on the PDF Sports Network. Once again, you can visit them at 1027 Chestnut Street in Roselle or order online at www.pinosbakery.com. That's Pinhos bakery.net. I said .com. Good thing I read it over, Dave. Pinosbakery.net. Instinct as we have the start of the third quarter, and the ball was loose along the boards, but it is ruled War Eagles football.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, bearing down on it was Ashton Barnes, who's made a couple of big plays on specials here in this game, and he almost had another one as that ball ended up in kind of no man's land.
Well, Bearcats almost caught a big break there, and some stumbling War Eagles along the padding and the boards very nearly failed to come up with that football, but crisis averted for Maryland. They are still within striking distance. It is a 3-score game. However, they cannot afford to fall behind by any more, and they very likely need points on this drive.
Yeah, the time is now. You know, they've had the ball 3 different times in the Bearcats' end of the field, and they have no points to show for it. Remember, this is a Stampede team, a War Eagles team that did not score on offense last week either against the Stampede. They lost 24-2 last week, so their only points came on defense.
First down for Maryland. Ball spotted at about their own 11-yard line. 2 receivers in motion and a quick toss to the back. Nice move out of the backfield to avoid a series of Bearcats by Butcher. And Dave, you said it before. You'd like to see them get back to the running game a bit. They had that big play that went for a loss early. Never got back to the run. That time they pick up about 6.
Yeah, and good job by Butcher to go opposite field here and get the hard yards it takes. They're about 3 or 4 yards shy of a first down, but still, it's a change of pace. And if you're a defensive lineman, now you have to keep that in your mental Rolodex, that's a play that they're running, as opposed to just straight up going after the quarterback on every play.
And that is the same play they ran before, except this time Butcher reversed field.
Right.
Something to keep in mind as 2 receivers cross in the backfield in motion. High snap brought in. Gruden down the field, nearly intercepted. Had a man open, but getting his hands on that one was Justin Piper as we have a flag on the play.
Yep, and again, it might have been advancing past the line of scrimmage. Actually, no, it is against the Bearcats this time. And they will take the result of that play, and it should be enough for a first down.
We thought the same thing before. We'll have to wait and make sure those sticks move. It looks like they will. So,
yeah, indeed.
Chain gang being waved forward. Average age of the chain gang, you think 10, 11?
Yeah, I would say under over 10. Maybe less. Those kids look in the 7, 8-year-old range.
All right.
Either that or I'm getting really old.
Well, no kids of my own that I know of, so I'll defer to you. Proud parent of 2. Snap goes to Gruden. He throws left, throws high, incomplete. There was a tight window there. Jones had some room, but we've seen some misfires in this game from Gruden. When he's missed, he has missed high.
Yes, that's right. I was going to say the same thing. When he has missed, it's been elevated. And Nick Price, who has an interception this season, almost was able to elevate for that one as well. But 2nd and 10 here.
So the War Eagles picking up a first down via penalty on the previous play. Throw incomplete on first down. 2nd and 10. Still looking for their first points of the night. 2 receivers wide to the left of Gruden. 1 receiver wide right. 1 man in motion. That's Jones. The throw goes short left, complete. Looking to turn upfield was Aaron Olds, but he's pushed into the glass.
Yeah, I think that might be Olds' first catch of the game. He's had a little bit of an adventure there. Sometimes in the flat, had one go off of his hands as well. But, had the wherewithal to stand up and get an extra 2 yards to make it an even 4-yard gain. And it'll be 3rd down and about 6.
Well, the good news on this drive for Maryland is they have not put themselves in 1st and very long, 2nd and very long. At the very least, they've kept their plays moving forward, albeit not for many yards. Still something.
Right.
And if you are in 3rd and 4th and short, you have a shot.
Yeah, because now you have 2 plays to get 6 yards. That's a lot more manageable than 15.
Those underneath throws have been there tonight.
Right.
2 receivers in motion once again. Gruden throws right, dropped.
Yeah, that's a costly one that time. Looked like for the first time he was looking in the direction of Tyler Jones in the underneath. There were 2 Bearcats on top of him, but still that would have been a decent 3 or 4 yard gain and would have cut the yardage to go in half.
The windows underneath have been tight, Dave, but they have been there for Gruden and this War Eagles offense tonight. That's a ball that has to be caught. Big hit incoming, and you know that as a receiver. Makes that a difficult play. Still a play that needs to be made, and now it's 4th down.
Yes, sir.
Chance of defense from the Bearcats faithful here at Werenenko. 2 receivers stacked to the right, 1 receiver wide left. The receivers wide right in motion. Gruden avoids pressure, steps forward and runs with it. And he's got enough for a first down and more. Gruden finally brought down at about the 5-yard line. 1st and goal to go for Maryland.
Yeah, and that time the Bearcats brought in an extra rusher as well. They brought in, it was Coleman who they brought in, and then Coleman was a little bit late getting back to meet Gruden, and Gruden took advantage of that over pursuit, if you would. And now it's a 1st and goal for the War Eagles.
And how much bigger is that Bearcats score before halftime right now? Big difference between 12-0 and 18-0 with that Bearcats touchdown late in the first half.
It's 100% because it's almost like a little bit of a blanket of insurance for the Bearcats. But you said it before, because the War Eagles going forward as opposed to the penalties, you could see the difference in the offense.
Also, that score forces the Maryland defense to be nearly perfect the rest of the way, as the Bearcats may have just been flagged for a pre-snap penalty, and I believe they were.
Yeah, it looks like either Pusey or it's in that corner there. Name Archer was in the area as well. They're discussing it, and it's going to be half the distance. So now it's a 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. Right around where you would either kick an extra point or get the 2-point conversion settled.
2 men in motion. Gruden rolling to his right, takes off. He's looking to run, and he is stopped short of the goal line. It looks to be at about the 2, maybe the 1.
Yeah, Adams was there first. Jalil Tyler getting in there as well to finish him off. But, yeah, that ball's going to be right outside the 1-yard line. So, as pass-heavy as the War Eagles have been, Joe, it's been the run game that's really helped them First play of this drive, you get the scramble out of the backfield by Gruden. He pulls forward, off tackle for a gain of 2. Let's see what they go back to here on second.
Second and goal. A lot of traffic on the near side. 3 receivers to that side. 2 of them in motion. Throw, end zone, caught! What a grab by Tyler Jones for the War Eagles touchdown.
Yeah, and Turner just about helicoptered him a little bit, but a great job by Jones to come down with it in traffic. He knew he was going to get hit on the way down, Joe, and he was able to secure the football. And the War Eagles get their first points in 2 weeks. And that's got to feel good for this team. And they'll kick a 1-point conversion attempt.
He was upended along those end boards. And when you put 3 receivers on one side of the field in close to the end zone, it really takes away the ability of the defense to pass off coverage, as that's a low snap. But the kick is up and good. So nice recovery there following the low snap. A great hold there by F.E.E.O.
Yep.
Hopefully I did not butcher his name.
And it was the camp that got it through the uprights. That's our first made extra point of the evening as well. And it cuts the lead to 11. Remember, field goals are in play in this game. So it is a 2-score game.
That is true.
Touchdown and potential field goal as well.
Now, if you're an offense and you're down to 1 play, you have the ball at the 1 or the 2. Let's assume the extra point is kicked from the 2, right?
Yep.
Do you go for the end zone on the final play to win, or do you kick the field goal?
Ooh.
What would you do?
I would probably kick it and try to tie it. And
well, no, you're going for the win.
What do you mean? Oh, to either kick or 2-point conversion?
No, to kick or go for the end zone. In, let's say it's a 2-point game. If you have a play from the 1 or a kick from the 1, what are you going with?
Oh, I'm kicking. I'm kicking a field goal to win the game.
Are you?
Yeah, I would, yeah.
Okay.
I would.
I'm very curious to see a team come up with that decision and what they would do.
Yeah, it's a good question.
I would love to see it. A game has never come down to that.
It's a very fair question, too, yeah.
The kickers have looked good, but there have been some iffy snaps, a couple of iffy holds.
Yeah, no, some of them have been very adventurous, and we've seen other times it's been rather automatic. So, yeah, depends on the night, I guess.
Would be interesting to see, but the War Eagles have made this a game again. 18-7, just under 6.5 to go in the third. Bearcats have it. This is Simmons Jr., and he is speared at the 10.
Yeah, it's a nice open field tackle by Keon Singleton. He's been in the middle of everything, offensively and defensively, mostly on defense. And, as big as that drive was to open up the third, is a big drive for this Maryland defense. Trying to get the Bearcats off of the field and back into the hands of their offense. And I think for the Bearcats, it's their worst starting field position of the game. They're at their own 10 to start this drive. And we did hear Coach Roque say that they will continue to shuttle the quarterbacks in and out, and indeed it is Chris Gulo back in at quarterback to start the third.
It's a very interesting approach. And if you're the War Eagles defensively, you need a stop here. I think you probably have to be perfect for most of the second half. Maybe you can afford to give up 1 score, but you certainly can't afford to give up more than that. And if you give up that 1 score now, it's going to be tough to shut out this Jersey offense the rest of the game.
Right.
1st and 10 Bearcats. Chris Kulo looking to throw, forced up into the pocket. Fires, sideline, caught. Tight window there along the sideline. And a nice catch in traffic by Hezekiah Frazier.
Yeah, actually, I think that was Ward.
That was Ward, you're right. A ruffled 6 looked a lot like an 8.
Yeah, but that's a good play. You're seeing it on your screen now of Chris Guolo manufacturing time and throwing it, stepping up into the pocket. I think he was looking for Doug Washington, Joe, who was running a post across the middle of the field, but he was under too much pressure and just couldn't get rid of the football enough, but had the wherewithal to step up and find Ward near the sideline. That was good enough for a first down.
1st and 10 Bearcats, 4.5 to go, third quarter. Ward in motion along with Washington. Chris Kulo goes deep and he makes the catch. What a play by by Todd Simmons Jr.
There's a flag down, Joe, but man, what a play. Let's see what the call is here with the white hat. It's going to be declined. It was against the War Eagles, and what a play. That was a great throw by Criscuolo, but an even better catch by Simmons. Maybe we'll slow the replay down a bit as well after we see it in real time. Wow.
An incredible throw and catch. He got that ball there so quickly, I couldn't even pick out who the target was.
Yeah, that was Simmons. And
what a throw and catch. That might be the most electrifying completion we've seen here by the Bearcats.
Gorgeous, and our score is now 24-7. And we'll see it slow down here. So a clean pocket for Criscuolo, is able to step up, has to throw it on a line, can't get too much loft on it, and then before the safety can get there, Simmons there first.
What a tight window as well. There was hardly any room as Dave, I think it's time to dress like a Bearcat, which means that we also have another break in the action. And with this break, we have champions running onto the field to participate in our Dress Like a Bearcats challenge. However, this is also the timeout that champions deserve, and champions deserve Zonier championship rings. Zonier, the official championship ring provider of the Jersey Bearcats and the AAL2. See the incredible selection and touch of class at Zonier. Visit us at zcchampionship.rings.com. There you can see Zonier's competitive pricing, exceptional customer service, and always free quotes. Zonier Championship Rings. Give Director of Sales Joseph Khalil a call at 1-800-303-8548. Zonier is the official ring provider of the Jersey Bearcats and the AAL2.
Excellent. Thanks to our friends at Zonier. We'll see which one of these guys walks off as a champion, I should say. But
well, dress like a Bearcat doesn't take quite as long as kicking like a Bearcat.
Right. And we have a free T-shirt toss, Joe. Now's your chance. We have a break in the action. Might as well tell you what's coming up on PDF Sports Network every single week. Sunday mornings, you wake up with Coach Pat way too early. Wednesdays at 8 p.m., the You Know I'm Right podcast with Nick Durst and Joe Calabrese. And then it's all about the AAL on Thursday and Friday nights. We got AAL2 Turf Talk, and we got the Bearcats Blitz every Friday night where we break down the week that was in the AAL and with this Jersey Bearcats. Those two shows produced by the Shady Sports Network. We're proud to have them on PDF live streamed as well. So thank you to our friends at the Shady Sports Network, and thank you to our friends at You Know I'm Right. And of course, Coach Dave Patterson. May have noticed the You Know I'm Right commercials were without sound. That was a technical glitch on our part, but Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., Nick Durst and Joe Calabrese, some of the biggest names in sports entertainment. And now their show comes to the PDF Sports Network. Very proud of that lineup.
Bearcats will go for two here. The point's not yet up on the board here at Waranenko, but it is 24-7 Jersey, and the two-point try will fail. So and it stays a 17-point game.
And if there's a little bit of a black eye in this game for the Bearcats, they are now 0 for 4 on 1 or 2 point conversions. A missed extra point, an extra point that never did get teed up the right way, and then 2 failed 2-point attempts.
That play went nowhere, and you hate to see your quarterback take hits like that unnecessarily. They called what looked like a quarterback option there. Criscuolo kept the football and was immediately punished for it as he was taken down hard by several War Eagles. Now, the Bearcats will kick off, and there is no time on the clock.
I think they're fixing it, Joe.
Yeah,
there's an official and there's a couple of coaches there. Yeah, 3:08 are left. They've put that back up, so that's the correct time left.
All right, just over 3 minutes to go, third quarter. I said it before, if you're Maryland, you had to be near perfect defensively the rest of the way. They've now given up a score. They certainly cannot give up another now.
100%. And now if you're the War Eagles, you have the two opponents, right? You got the Bearcats, and now you have the clock. It's only the third quarter, but, you know, you can't really count on too many more offensive possessions.
Storigo sends it away. It skips across midfield into the arms of the return man Jones. And he breaks a tackle at the 20, still going. Tripped up across midfield with a flag out.
Horse collar on O'Day.
Well, that will set up Maryland in phenomenal field position, and they have a chance to get those 6 points back very quickly.
Yeah, and it was a penalty of desperation, because if O'Day doesn't get him by the horse collar here, he's gone in for 6. There's one Bearcat back deep. You know, Javon Thomas was in the neighborhood, but no choice there. And maybe it'll be outside the 10. So it's going to be a 1st and 10 from the 12 to start this drive. And the clock is running here at Warananko, so we'll just keep that in mind. But the War Eagles, if they could score here on 1 or 2 plays, get that touchdown back, that they would be best served with this field position to do just that.
Well, a shot of life for the War Eagles here. A good first drive to open up the second half, and if they can build on that with another score here, they get right back to within 2 possessions, and perhaps if they can convert on the 2-point try, they can trim the lead to 9.
They're fixing the sticks here, and the Maryland coaching staff, Coach Steeple, not happy here because they're seeing 40, 50 seconds come off the clock here, and they're still trying to get the chain gang situated.
2 receivers in motion. Gruden looking to throw. Fires, end zone, incomplete.
Yep.
And the defensive back did get there early, Dave. I don't think it was catchable, but in that situation, it's too close. It won't matter.
Yeah, I don't think Jones could have made that catch. It was too out, towards the sideline, but O'Day did give him a bump. There's no question. You could see the bump coming right there.
You can't hit him there. It's
yeah, you just can't. And O'Day is having a drive to forget here. He had the horse collar penalty to set this drive up at the 12, and now they're going to have the ball at the 6, half the distance. It'll be a 1st down and 3 coming up. 1st and 2. Actually, it's going to be a 10-yard penalty here, and not half the distance. And if that is the case,
it would have been pass interference in the end zone.
Yeah, but okay.
Wouldn't that put it at the 1?
I don't know if it's a spot foul in the AL.
Okay.
To be honest, but either way, it's going to be 1st down, and I guess it's goal to go now.
1st and goal from the 2. It looks like.
Yeah.
Big opportunity here for Maryland. And keeping it is Gruden. He's racing for the pylon. And did he get in?
I thought he was still up on his feet, and he's in the end zone celebrating. Yes, indeed.
And that is a War Eagles touchdown. It takes Maryland just seconds to get on the board for a second time here in the 3rd quarter. And that score should send us to the 4th. And we will see if the War Eagles go for 2. I don't think they're lining up to go for 2 here.
Now, and will they switch up the sides in time for this 1-point conversion? They will. So that'll do it for the 3rd, as I think we got Cameron on the field ready to go.
All right, we'll throw it down to our colleague, Cameron Williams.
Thank you, guys. Bearcats up 24-13 so far. Big touchdown catch by Todd Simmons Jr. for his 2nd touchdown of the match thus far. But the Bearcats have given up 2 touchdowns, making it a 24-13 score so far. Bearcats got to hold down on the rush. But other than that, the offense has still been working hard, and the Bearcats have the lead 24-13. Back to you, Dave and Joe. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Cameron, reporting from the sidelines throughout the night. Had some good conversations pregame with the Bearcats. Was joined by the Lady Bearcats at halftime. And Dave, they are going to kick from this end of the field, so they do not switch sides.
So officially, the quarter will end as a result of this play.
As we mentioned before, the War Eagles will kick for 1 point here, which does still keep a field goal in play if necessary in a potential 10-point game. And a whistle blows this play dead before it started. Offsides against the Bearcats.
Half the distance they'll go.
The kick was good, and it did appear to be pretty close.
Yeah. Kind of tucked into the upright.
Yeah, the near side upright.
Right.
The right upright. They'll do it again. Good snap, good hold, And good kick, straight through. And the War Eagles have cut the lead to 10. It is now 24-14 Bearcats as we head to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you know, I don't know how you feel about it, Joe. It doesn't feel like a 10-point game. You know, it feels like the Bearcats are up by more, but quietly in that third quarter, the War Eagles have essentially wrestled control and momentum away from the game. You know, you hear a hushed kind of silence in the crowd now. This is like probably the lowest lull we've seen in the crowd. So, you know, I think there's maybe a little bit of nervous energy here. And that was a really tough drive for the Bearcats. They had the big penalty on the kickoff that set up the short field and another penalty that set the ball up at the goal line. So it was a very uncharacteristic Bearcats defensive drive on that one. And now we'll have to see if they can once again respond to a Maryland attack to try and set the tone of this half. Now the Bearcats, the onus is on them to respond.
Well, I said it during the first half. Maryland could not afford to have Jersey score before halftime. They've been playing catch-up ever since. If the Bearcats did not get those points, it is a completely different game right now. And in that situation where the War Eagles kicked the extra point moments ago, they probably don't kick there. They probably go for two to try and make it a 3-point game.
Correct.
No reason not to. Though you always get into point chasing sometimes. If you do miss, is it late enough to go for it? That's always the question that comes up. I'm inclined to say entering the fourth quarter, they probably go for two, but we don't know that for sure, as it looks like the Lady Bearcats are being welcomed back to the field. So it does appear we have a special guest as well. Is that beyond the Lady Bearcats, or are they our special guests?
We'll see. Might be Lady B again, Joe.
Could be. The newest member of the Lady Bearcats?
The mascot. Lady Bearcats have a mascot.
Now, is Lady B the mascot of the Lady Bearcats
yes,
or of the team?
I have to believe that's the case. Because I think there was a bow in the hair and long hair, the long flowing locks. So I think so.
We'll throw it down to field level where the Lady Bearcats will perform ahead of the fourth quarter. And we're back here on PDF following another performance by the Lady Bearcats. But with this timeout, we would like to let you know that every Jersey Bearcats game does have a theme, and it is Youth Night, as we mentioned earlier, at Waranenko. Not only is there plenty to do for the kids here on Youth Night, but once again tonight is presented by RIF. Reading is fundamental. RIF's slogan is, until every child reads. And that is the mission it lives by every day. Tonight, all of our youths in attendance are receiving a free book, courtesy of RIF. And for teachers, discover the breadth of RIF's professional development opportunities and enhance your classroom instruction. With an emphasis on a personalized and evidence-based approach, educators and reading specialists are invited to explore RIF's offerings to support your efforts to drive student literacy outcomes. Learn more at RIF.org. Thank you to our friends at RIF. As the Bearcats return the kickoff to begin the fourth quarter, out to about the 15. They are stopped just short of the 15. Ball spotted at the 14-yard line.
Yeah, a little dangerous there with the juggling act, but the Bearcats do start off at inside of their own 15. Their last drive was their worst starting field position of the game. It started at the 10. This one starts at the 14. So, you know, if you're Maryland, you got them where you want them a little bit. You know, now the War Eagles really defensively, they have to get the stand up. You know, Chris Culo only had the one drive in that third quarter Joe, it was successful, and he comes back out here to start the fourth. We heard him tell Cameron, there is no 1, there is no 2 on the depth chart here. We have 2 quarterbacks. They can run the offense. So it looks like they're getting the same amount of drives, not necessarily the time on the field.
The clock continues to tick down toward 14 minutes remaining in this game. Night has fallen over Roselle, New Jersey. Bearcats lead is 10. 2 receivers in motion. Chris Kulo looking downfield, throws over the middle short. Simmons Jr. wide open with running room and pushed out at the War Eagles 15-yard line. So the Bearcats using that pre-snap motion to draw the defensive backs from Maryland down the field. The underneath completion, that's a big gain.
Yeah, no easier 20 yards than that. You just find Simmons, who's hanging out in the underneath of that coverage, 5 or 6 yards down the field, and then his legs do the rest.
Bearcats back to the line quickly. It's a quick pitch to Adams. Adams working along the glass, and he's pushed out of bounds at about the 11 or 12-yard line.
Yeah, plays like that, they don't look like much, but, you know, that's a good, solid 3-yard gain on the play. Keeps the drive moving in a positive direction.
Clock inside 13 minutes now, fourth quarter.
Yeah, you know, Adams hasn't run the ball a great deal, but he does have 2 scores in this game. And when they've gotten inside the 10, he's been a go-to guy.
If you're the War Eagles here, at the very least, you'd like to set up the Bearcats with a 4th and goal and some distance to go. Make it a challenge. Do not allow them to stay in 1st and 2nd down all the way to the end zone. Put some pressure on this offense in a 3rd or 4th down spot. Chris Kulo looking to his left, in trouble. Just heaves one, and it's caught. And the big tackle is made in the open field by Frank Sneed. That's a huge play.
A huge play, and I don't know how Chris Kulo even saw Washington on the play. It's a minimal gain. Maybe he got a yard tops, but to turn a disastrous play into something positive is a feather in the cap of Chris Kulo and Washington here. But it is a big 3rd down now. 3rd down and the long 6, short 7 coming up.
Well, that looked like it could have been disastrous. We could not see the receiver on the play. And Washington was able to come back and get it. Sneed made the big tackle. It's now 3rd down for the Bearcats. The Eagles, War Eagles, I should say, looking to give their offense a chance in a 2-score game. 2 receivers in motion. Chris Kulo flushed out to his right, running out of time, throws into traffic, incomplete.
No, that was anybody's ball, really. It was thrown a little bit low, which is good, actually, because it prevented Mike Baker from coming in there higher to make that play. And, yeah, a lot of hand jockeying there, but still. So here we go. Joe, huge play. 4th down here and 7 yards.
And the Maryland defense has done it. What I said, Dave, they've gotten the Bearcats into a 3rd and long and now a 4th and long. Keep the pressure on this Bearcats offense with the down and distance. They've also kept the pressure on Chris Kulo on this drive. He's had a collapsing pocket to throw from when he's looked to air it out, and that certainly helped in forcing these incompletions on the last couple of downs, or at least one incompletion, and then a very short game on the heave with Chris Kulo wrapped up by 2 defenders just getting the ball out.
Yeah, Singleton came in on a blitz, too, the 4th rusher on that play. Let's see what he does here.
2 receivers in motion to the left. Chris Kulo looking that way, throws end zone, and he's nearly picked off. It's a turnover on downs for the Bearcats offense.
It was essentially a 50-50 throw, Joe. You're hoping that Ward has inside leverage on that play and is able to kind of make the play, but because Ian McCullers kind of ran through that route, he was able to break things up on his own. And so, you know, the clock should stop here, Joe, on a change of possession.
It hasn't stopped all night.
Yeah, it has not stopped. But we are under 10 minutes to go and counting. And, you know, we've been told that on changes of possession the clock does stop, but the clock is still running here. 9:40 to go. The War Eagles down by 2 scores, but are now within distance here.
And you know what I always say, Dave, when it comes to things like that, the clock stops on change of possession. I always say, nobody likes a liar. Clock's still running.
Yeah, and, well, I mean, either we're mistaken or we've been given bad information. But
well, the Bearcats are perfectly content to watch the clock run.
Yeah.
Now, the officials are going to the watch here, and they are looking up at the clock.
And that last play ended with just over 10 minutes to go. It was 10:01, 10:02. There is exactly 9 minutes to go right now. So a full minute lost on the clock on the change of possession.
It is first down for Maryland in a 10-point game. They've outscored the Bearcats 14-6 in the second half. Gruden throwing complete. Jones turns upfield, breaks one tackle, and is out across the 20. First down, War Eagles. And Dave, this offense is beginning to find some rhythm.
That's like the third or fourth time that Jones has made what looked to be a sure tackle. He breaks out of it and gets another 7 or 8 yards on the play. Moves the sticks, obviously. It's a first down. But look at that. He's like a human pinball. He's bouncing around 2 and 3 guys in the defensive backfield. That is not an easy thing to do against this team, against this Bearcats team.
First down, Maryland, with just over 8 minutes to go. 3 receivers on the field for Maryland here, 1 back in the offensive backfield. Motion man Jones, and Gruden's in trouble. He is sacked. 2 Bearcats in on the play, Ramirez and Garner.
Absolutely. Well, Ramirez was first one there. He got the wrap, and then Garner said, there's no way you're getting out of this tackle. Boom, have a seat. And that's a big sack here, and that's the first time in this half that the Maryland War Eagles have been hit for a loss, whether it's on a play or on a penalty. It's the first time they've gone backwards, and that was their Achilles heel in the first half. Let's see if they can worm out of this hole here in the second.
We said it during the pregame, Dave. This Bearcats defense is capable of big plays just as much as their offense, and when this Jersey team really needed it, they came through with a big play right there as we have a timeout on the field. So with that timeout, it's just about time to think about where we are going to eat after the game. You know that's always on my mind, Dave.
Yes.
And we know where the lucky winners of this game are going, and that's Applebee's of Linden. They are sponsoring a free dinner for 2 for every Jersey Bearcats home game this season. And with amazing drink specials and delicious food, it's where we all should be headed following the game. Make sure to visit our friends at Applebee's of Linden, located at 671 West Edgar Road in Linden. With eat-in, car-side to-go, and delivery options, we've got the food covered. Visit Applebee's and tell them the Jersey Bearcats sent you.
Great job, Joe, and thank you, Applebee's, for your sponsorship as well. That was a timeout that was taken by the War Eagles, Joe, so let's keep that in our back pocket as well.
And the pitch is fumbled. Was it a backwards toss? And it is being played out as if it was. Disaster for the War Eagles, and they are safetied on the play.
Wow. And we're going to get another look at that, and we're going to look at it in slow motion because first things first, is this a forward pitch to Butcher, or was this indeed a lateral? Let's see.
Forward. That's forward.
That's forward in my book,
forward.
too.
That's an incomplete pass.
That should have been an incomplete pass. I agree, Joe. It's hard for us on this angle.
Well, it looks like they waved off the safety, Dave.
They have, huh?
The official signaled safety without a doubt. Oh, bad break there for Maryland.
Yeah.
That is a forward pass.
And now I believe it's third down and a country mile.
It's third and more than half the field.
Yeah, the first down marker's at about the Bearcats 18. So about 31 yards to go on third down.
High snap through the hands of Gruden. Never had a chance. There's the safety.
Well, maybe the football doesn't lie, right, Joe? It should have been a safety maybe in the last play.
If the football doesn't lie, they would have gotten
complete.
They would have gotten back to where they were. But that's a bad break if you're Maryland. It looked like a pretty clear forward pass. But typically when you have that kind of play, pitching it to the back out of a shotgun look, it is a backwards pitch typically. I don't believe it was on the particular play in question. But either way, the following snap goes straight over the head of Gruden. And when you get put in that situation, backed up, against your own goal line and your quarterback is tighter to the line of scrimmage, you're prone to that mistake.
Yeah.
They are not used to him lining up that close to the center, and that makes the difference.
Yeah, and you know what, Joe? The other thing about it is, obviously there's no replay, but there wasn't really a lot of protest from the War Eagles either, you know? So
let's get one more look at it, Nick.
And that's the only thing that gives me pause about it is that, you know, you would think they would have protested that a little bit more.
Let's pause the replay once it starts after the quarterback releases the ball. When the ball comes out, let's see where everybody was. So, Nick, just get ready to pause that.
Yeah, so that looks like he's about the yellow line. And, the quarterback's at the yellow line.
I think at worst it's a horizontal pass.
Yeah.
I don't think it was backwards, but it almost works out better to give up the safety there than a touchdown. But I think that kick hit the roof.
Yeah, it did. It hit the facade, so it's going to be spotted right where it hit the net. And, Joe, just to back up just a little bit, is that we're correct. The possession changed and the clock did stop this time.
Okay.
So it's been a little bit helter-skelter for sure.
It only stops on occasion in that scenario. So it is Bearcats football with just 5:50 to go, and it's desperation time for the War Eagles. And I keep going back to the play, Dave, but that touchdown before halftime completely changed this game. And it's a big reason why the Bearcats may not have to sweat this one.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, that was a huge play. 12-0, 18-0, that's a huge difference. And the War Eagles have been a lot better in this half. But again, push comes to shove. The Bearcats put an enormous amount of pressure in the backfield, and the game changes as Mateo Rodriguez comes back into the game.
Rodriguez in with 5:50 to go. And if you're the Bearcats here and you take 2-3 minutes off the clock, you'll take it.
You're fine.
You'll take it. It's a two-score game in the truest sense, 12-point game without any conversions.
And if you're Maryland, it's like turnover or bust at this point. It's really all they should be thinking about here.
Rodriguez looking to his right, has Ward open. And boy, did that window close quickly.
It sure did. You know, bearing down on it very quickly was Frank Snead. And, you know, he might have had an opportunity there to pick that one off and go the other way. It was thrown really hot. There's one thing about Rodriguez is that ball comes off of his hand really quick.
On that particular play, probably needed to get that out just a bit faster because Ward was wide open.
Yes.
And the window closed along the near sideline. And very easily could have resulted in a pick.
Yep, and the War Eagles have been giving the Bearcats that play underneath.
All set up by those attempts down the field. Pre-snap motion once again, two receivers moving. Rodriguez avoids pressure and breaks free. He heads up the field. Down inside the 5, touchdown Bearcats! Mateo Rodriguez avoids the pressure and breaks free as the Bearcats go ahead by 18 once again.
And you'd like to think that puts it out of reach for the War Eagles, but that's the dimension that Mateo Rodriguez gives you in relation to Chris Culo. We've seen Chris Culo, you know, make something out of nothing, run out of the pocket, but the pure speed of Rodriguez, that's hard. You know, you obviously can't teach that, and the instincts to get out of trouble from what would have been a sack to go all the way to the house, that's the kind of one-play dynamics that this Bearcats team will give you, and Rodriguez continues to stay hot in his own right. And like you said, it puts the Bearcats back up by the 18 that they led by at the half.
Bearcats will go for 2 here. 3:54 to go and counting. Once again, pre-snap motion. It was Javon Thomas moving, but the War Eagles are whistled for offside. So we'll set it up again. Clock still running inside of 4 minutes.
Yeah, the clock's still running. And it, from what I've seen, it should. Through the extra point, then it should stop. But, yeah, if you're the War Eagles here, it's It looks like it's curtains now. You know, we should know better. We've seen.
We should. I'll never forget that first
right.
game we covered here in 2023.
Right.
I'll never forget that
20
game.
points in 4.5 minutes.
Handoff goes to Adams here, and he's across for the 2-point conversion. So the Bearcats take advantage of the penalty yardage and hand off to Adams, who converts for 2. And with that, the Bearcats should be ahead by 20.
Right. Yeah, the arena scoreboard is wrong. They have it as a 19-point lead. It should be 20. But with 3:07 to go, you'd like to think the Bearcats are on their way to 3-0, and it's a more meaningful win, Joe, because obviously these are division rivals, and Maryland will fall to 1-2 if the score stands, and that's a 2-game difference. They do meet again later in the season, but at least when it comes to their, against Maryland, they control their own destiny.
It's time for the sack race, Dave.
Well, the sack race was sponsored by our friends at Applebee's, and we've said that. So, Joe, maybe while we have this break, we could talk a little bit about what's coming up as far as the PDF Sports Network. And there it is. On Saturday, May 10th, we'll be back here in Warananko, where it's a special start time. Note the start time, 8 p.m. On Saturday, May 10th. They'll face off against the New Jersey Roughnecks. That's the second time those two teams will face off. Two Jersey teams, the only two Jersey teams in the league, and that should be a good one, Joe. Game 1 went right down to the wire despite the final score of 40-26 in favor of the Bearcats. A back-and-forth affair. That should be a special treat for us.
No question about it, Dave. You know I'll be watching that game. I will not be in town on May 10th, but I will certainly be tuning in. I have a wedding that day. I might be flying in from Buffalo that morning. It's going to be a very busy weekend for me, covering games all around the tri-state area as far south as Florida. It's been a good time this year covering games here on PDF and for my work in collegiate athletics, but I know that's a game you're looking forward to on May 10th, and I will certainly be watching, and I should be back for every game the rest of the way. So that's the good news for me. I hate to miss a Bearcats game. I don't believe I've missed one yet prior to that game on the 10th coming up. So unfortunately, I'll be missing my first game. But you did cover the season opener without me, so
yes.
I should rephrase. I did not miss any home games.
Any home games, right.
And that was quite the trip you made to cover that game.
Yeah, that was about an hour and 35 minutes or so. It was a good ride, I will say. However, it was raining for a little bit, and that was the only reason why it took a little bit longer than I expected. But good hospitality there as well.
Bearcats kick it. And that was played on a bounce. Frank Sneed is...
Without a helmet, they really got to stop play there. Yeah, that's going to be penalty. That's not a wise decision by the Bearcats there. Once that helmet comes off, that play should have been whistled. And good looks there to at least stop that play, and Frank Sneed's okay.
The War Eagles are going to get some penalty yardage out of this on top of the good starting field position they had based solely on the return.
See if it makes a difference or not. But the War Eagles really have had great field position all day long, especially since that first quarter. Almost setting up routinely in Bearcats territory. And, Joe, we should mention, you mentioned it earlier about the Tri-State Warriors women's football team. Their season opener is also May 10th. We had thought we were going to cover that game live, but for now, we're going to run that game on tape delay on May 11th instead. So we'll have a camera crew there, and then we will air it on the 11th because we'll be live here instead. We can only be live in one place at one time. And so that game in Camden, New Jersey, we'll have it for you, but we'll be airing it the next day on Mother's Day. So a pretty fitting day to cover women's football opener. On Mother's Day, we'll have the Tri-State Warriors in their season debut.
Looking forward to that because of that tape delay. All of a sudden, I can be there.
You can be there.
That's right.
We will be there on tape delay as well. Live on tape.
I can broadcast the game from anywhere in the world live.
Yeah.
Could be everywhere. We have the equipment now. We have the software necessary. I can be anywhere they need me to be if all they require is my voice and not my presence. So that's good.
And shameless plug for those of you who are tuning in. We are, of course, the PDF Sports Network. You can find us on pdfsportsnet.com. And, of course, on this YouTube channel that you're watching us tonight. Of course, we have the ability to live stream from just about anywhere. Tape delay, live, of course, commercial breaks, instant replay. We've got a great crew here Pat Gilorenzo on camera. Nick Durst is our engineer behind the scenes. Of course, the addition of Cameron Williams, a intern who's going to school at the University of Miami this fall.
First play of this War Eagles drive, a throw toward the goal line, and there it is again, Dave, a misfire high.
Yep.
Big chance there, and we've seen it throughout the night. There have been opportunities for this War Eagles offense, and they've had a much better second half. And if you look at this game as a tale of two halves, it reflects very well what we spoke about during the pregame. A tale of two games for this team. Week 1, defeating the Stampede. Week 2, scoring just 2 points. Each half of this game has played out like one of each of the first 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah. Well, they won the opening game of the season, Joe, 21-18 over the Steel City Stampede. And they did it on the road. And then they only scored 2 points last week, so obviously their offense did not score. And they scored the 2 touchdowns here. And, we know in the arena game, as much as there's great defense, you have to think about scoring in that 25, 30-point range to think about having a chance to win games. And so this offense has to get a little bit more uncorked. 2 touchdowns in 2 weeks is just not going to do it. But it's a marathon, not a sprint, as they say, as we reach the 1-minute warning. And we know Coach Steeple's going to continue to do a great job with this team. And that's the other thing, too, we should mention, Joe. We don't exactly know how playoffs are going to work yet in the AAL. A lot of it will do with regionally how things shake out and set up. But, all you got to do is get in. And if you get in, if as long as it's coming together by the end of your season, that's what can propel you to a championship.
And in terms of getting in, I spoke about it earlier in the broadcast. Big difference between 2-1 and 1-2. So a bit more urgency now moving forward for the War Eagles. As Gruden throws deep, nobody there, and picked off. Getting one hand on it was Pusey. He was able to redirect it back down into his chest where he completed the catch.
Wow. A one-handed stab, which you're back up against the glass, hitting the glass, keeping that, trapping it in your body. Wow. What a play by Pusey. And what a fitting end to this game. I mean, the Bearcats can essentially just run it out. They do have to run plays. They can't take a knee because the clock will stop, but that's some way to end it.
That's a great display of strong hands surviving that contact with the end boards after grabbing it from up high with just one hand. And the Bearcats likely will take a knee, do I dare say, Dave?
Well, they can't because the clock would stop.
Right.
You have to go forward
Forgot.
in order for the clock to continue to move. So I would assume they'll run a few plays here. You got...
As in run the ball?
Run the football.
Are you sure?
I'd like to think so, but we've covered too many games where victory formation is just not in the vocabulary.
I think victory formation is also synonymous with Hail Mary.
True.
I mean,
True.
That seems to be how it goes in semi-pro.
Right.
And oftentimes they try in arena too. We'll see.
Sure. Well, and again, because we don't know the playoff shakeup, points for might be a big deal too, and points against might be a factor. So it almost gives you a reason why you should try to go for more points, because that could play a tie-breaking factor down the road.
Let's see what they do. 2 receivers in motion, and they will throw. Rodriguez down the field, end zone, touchdown! Rodriguez to Washington.
We talk about the ceiling here, Joe. We talk about the inability to play deep. It doesn't matter with the Bearcats. They don't care. They're not going to change who they are, and that's their first one-play touchdown of this game. And look at this strike. Out past the outstretched hands of the defender, Kadeem Bailey, and right between the numbers of Washington, who continues to make big play after big play, especially on deep balls. And all of a sudden, what was a very close game at one point, Joe, looks like a runaway, and the scoreboard to show it.
Well, we said it before the snap, Dave. Victory formation, often synonymous with Hail Mary.
You called it.
That's not exactly a Hail Mary, but how about the throwing downfield from these 2 Bearcats quarterbacks tonight? We have seen 2 of the best-looking passes that we've seen in any of the games we've covered here at Waranenko. And keep in mind how tough that is to do with the low-hanging roof. They were in the right part of the field to do it, where the roof is sloping upward toward midfield. It's not too low between the 15 and the 20. That puts you in a good position to make that pass, but you can't throw it any better than that. We've seen 2 passes just like that tonight, one from Chris Culo and another from Rodriguez.
Yeah, and then when you mix in the interception that started all this and the great catch by Pusey to set them up, I mean, you're not going to see 3 better plays in arena football anywhere. I don't care what level of arena you're watching. Those were some great plays.
And you mentioned these 2 teams will meet again later this year. That's not a play you forget if you're Maryland there. The game in hand.
Sure.
They go deep. They score. It changes, obviously, what looked like a relatively close game into a much more lopsided-looking game. You won't forget that one heading into the second meeting on your home turf.
No, and we're going to call a timeout here for the Bearcats as they're looking to get the right play in. As we labor through these final 48 seconds, the War Eagles will have a chance to get a response and hang their hat on something positive here before this game is out. We remind you that at the end of this game, stay with us. Cameron Williams will have our player of the game, and the Coach K breakdown will be coming up. Another thing that we have for our 3rd year in a row, and I don't think anybody was as excited coming into this game as Coach K was, Joe.
Well,
and the excitement level was for the post-game show.
And he should be excited because he is the only personnel member of a team that we have ever given their own unique graphic.
That's a good point.
So I'm glad to hear he's excited. Maybe we update the graphic next time.
We'll have to.
Now, his original idea was his head on a bagel.
His face on a bagel.
Yeah, I don't know
We
what
had to
that
ask
is.
him 2 or 3 times what he meant by that.
And they'll throw for the 2-point conversion, high and incomplete.
Yep.
And Rodriguez took a shot at the end of that play.
And when we asked Coach K about what he meant by that, he said, my face on a bagel.
So now, is it his head protruding from the center of the bagel, neck up?
I
Or
guess-
do we flip that bagel on its side and
don't
put his
know.
face in the middle? I think you flip it on its side and put his face in the middle.
When someone tells you to put their face on a bagel, Joe, it's open to interpretation. You have to work those creative juices. Maybe you make his face the cream cheese, and you just open the bagel, and it's his face. I don't know.
We've thought about this too much and taken it too far now.
We're going to give you creative freedom to design that at some point this season.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
Maybe we'll tell him if they win the championship this year in our final Coach K post-game wrap-up, we will come up with something for it. I am by no means a graphic artist, however.
Well,
I've dabbled.
You've worked your magic before.
I have. We won't say what I used it for. As that skips across midfield, and they'll hand it back on the return. 2 players collide on the War Eagles side, and the Bearcats do make the tackle across the 15-yard line with a flag down. And
a couple of players engaged now, and some hands coming up.
You think they end the game here, Dave?
Say it again?
You think they end the game here?
It's 38.3 to go. Let's see what they decide. I don't think they are. The Bearcats are telling their guys to go to the sideline, but no, they're going to run it out there. Well, the young man who was involved on the War Eagle side is laughing it up on the bench, so I think it's all good. Cooler heads are prevailing. Now, there was flags on the field. There was some blue jersey on the field, too. So
perhaps the longest final minute.
Yeah, this tends to
since
happen to
our
us a
first
lot.
ever Bearcat. Well, the longest minute, or I should say final minute for the Bearcats in their history has to be the final minute of that opener in 2023.
Oh, yeah.
Has to be. Both literally and figuratively, as the Stampede walked it off with a touchdown. Yeah. That was some finish.
Yeah. And that was our first ever arena football game on the PDF Sports Network. And, you know, I had never even covered an arena football game in my life before, Joe. Before that game, of course, I had seen plenty of games. I'd been in arenas with games, but what an intro we got that day.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was something special.
Hard to top.
You don't often see games like that, especially in what is the inaugural game in the history of a franchise.
Right.
And was that the very first game in the history of the AAL2? Did anyone play ahead of them?
No. It was the very first game that kicked off. There was a game that night. I remember there was a game that night that started about an hour later, but it was the first official kickoff. And
that's some way to kick off the history of your team and your league.
Yeah, you know, when I worked in college athletics, one of my favorite phrases is first is forever. So whenever you do something for the first time, no one can ever take it away from you, you know. So, you know, the first ever arena football game in our history, no one will ever take that away from us as a production company. And it was the very first game in AAL2 history, and we were there for it. So it's a special meaning for a lot of different reasons. And then just from the way it ended is just amazing. You couldn't script it any better. Of course, our team, the Bearcats, who we call games for, were on the losing end of that game, but they didn't lose after that game. Let's put it that way. They ran the table the rest of the way, and we were there for the championship as well. So very special indeed for us, and first is forever. That'll always remain with us.
2023, a very exciting ride, as was 2024. Bearcats came up just short in the playoffs last year, but they're back in search of another banner to hang here at Waranenko in 2025. They finally have sorted out the penalties, and the War Eagles will take over at the 14-yard line of Jersey.
I've lost count, but I think this is the 6th or 7th time tonight that the War Eagles have been in Bearcats territory. They only have the 2 touchdowns to show for it.
Pre-snap motion and perhaps a false start.
Yeah, a couple of moans and groans from the fans now coming up.
I'm going to start moaning and groaning soon, Dave.
Yeah.
And no penalty enforced on the play. There was no flag, apparently. It was never thrown. They'll do it again here. 38.3 to go. More pre-snap motion and a handoff. Looking to bounce it outside is Singleton, and he's tripped up as he looked to reverse field.
That young man has bounced out of a couple of tackles in this game, and if he's able to keep his footing, he's walking in for a touchdown. I don't know how he got away from 2 or 3. And I'll tell you what, Joe, the Bearcats are going to win this game. But, you know, they've missed their share of tackles in this game. They had a couple of early penalties in the first quarter that got them in trouble. So a few things to clean up coming off of a 26-point win, but that'll do it.
All right, the final seconds tick off the clock here in Waranenko. And the Bearcats have improved to 3-0 as the officials are holding things up.
3 seconds left.
One more play.
Well, I think, the War Eagles called
timeout. War Eagles.
They wanted to run one last play to try to get in the end zone.
Fair enough. After the Bearcats look to score on their final possession, the War Eagles will hope to do the same. And even 3 seconds to go, Maryland will run what is likely to be their final offensive play. Jersey sending players off the bench back out onto the field here. And it looks like a lot of those players are traditionally offensive players.
Yeah, interesting here. So we had McKenzie come off. We had Garner come off. I mean, I know Kyle Ward does play defense as well, but he's in there. Nas Adams is in there.
Well, my post-game meal at Applebee's of Linden has to wait a bit longer.
Right. It's getting cold.
Half-price apps sound pretty good.
I know, they really do.
All right, final snap of the game. Gruden throws end zone high. And that
lost our camera feed, but we're still okay, Joe, audio-wise. Let's see if maybe it's in the camera. Oh, no, we're back, Joe, we're back. We'll keep our eye on Cameron Williams down low as he will get somebody for us to talk to, and, of course, Coach K. But until then, Joe, we had a 24-14 game at one point it was?
It was 24-14 at one point. At halftime, it was 18-0. And the Bearcats go on to win it by 26. They finished very strong, scored the final 16 points.
Yeah, and again, another big fourth quarter. This is a team that's starting to throw those together, these fourth quarters, and are taking charge.
Is Cameron ready for us? I think he's going to look to grab a player, perhaps, or is he ready?
I thought he was, but he sounds like he's ready. Let's go downstairs.
All right, let's throw it to Cameron.
Bearcats take it down 40. It was an absolute bombing of the game. The Bearcats totally took it down, commanded the rushing, the passing game, and the defense was there throughout the whole entire game. We're going to try to find Mateo here. We got Mateo here, player of the game. Come right here, Mateo. Mateo, multiple touchdowns this game and a rushing touchdown. How do you feel after this win?
I mean, we got the wins that's what I care about, but I think we're really coming together as a team. We've been really banged up the last 2 weeks, but we were finally here healthy, so it's just good to feel that we got the win all together.
What was the emotion like throughout the entire game, especially when you guys commanded a very powerful offensive surge?
I mean, at the end of the day, we just want to come here and just, finish the game early. We definitely want to put out a show for the fans here, which, a lot of fans came out. So, again, we just wanted to be 1-0 at the end of the day, and now we're 3-0.
Great game, Mateo. Thank you very much. Back to you guys, Dave and Joe.
All right, thank you, Cameron, and thank you to our player of the game, Mateo Rodriguez, for giving us his time amidst his team's post-game celebration. And I know Cameron's going to find Coach K now. He's not going to miss his opportunity to catch up with us here on PDF. But as Coach K joins Cameron, Dave, let's talk a bit more about this game tonight. It looks like perhaps A.J. Roque is going to join Cameron. Oh, he found Coach K. And we will throw it down to Cameron for our Coach K post-game wrap.
For the Wrap It Up with Coach K, the most popular post-game show. Coach K, how do you feel after this game?
Feels pretty good. We got to clean up a few things, obviously. 40-14. We just got a few personnel things we got to clean up, then we can really get clicking.
You guys are 3-0. What has been your greatest success so far?
Just playing together, man. I mean, this defense, they hit hard. Offense, we come out, we're so deep. No one wants the ball. They just want to win. You know what I'm saying? There's a bunch of selfless guys. I never hear any guys like me. So, you know what I'm saying? It's a team thing.
100%. You guys are 3-0 heading into next week. What are you guys looking to build off of after this win?
We got a few injuries. We got to dust up here soon. We might be adding a few players here and there. So, unfortunately, Aaron Brown, he's done for the season. So we got to kind of find someone to fill his role. We're definitely missing him tonight.
100%. Coach K, thank you very much. Congratulations on the win.
Arabella Lynn, if you see this, it's time for bed.
Thank you guys very much. Dave and Joe, back to you guys.
All right, it's bedtime for the kids at home. And, Dave, it's time for us to put this one to bed. Yep. A big win for the Bearcats here tonight in their home opener, 40-14. Final thoughts.
Well, the Bearcats, they got off to the big lead, and they were able to hold off a War Eagles rush, close this one out with a 26-point win. At times, it felt like they were up by more than just 10 or 12 points at times, and the final score showed that. The War Eagles have some work to do, but they showed some signs of life in the second quarter. Joe, I told you this off the air at halftime. I think the Bearcats have a really good football team, and I think that they're proving it week in and week out. 40 points on opening day, 50 points last week, another 40 this week. They have a two-headed quarterback monster that just keeps producing, and it's going to be hard to stop a team that's rolling like this Bearcats team is. Let's see if they can keep it up.
Next week, the Bearcats are at the Steel City Stampede. 2 weeks from now, they are back here at Waranenko. We will have that game on the PDF Sports Network. As we mentioned earlier, it will be the Roughnecks heading into the Waranenko Sports Arena for their matchup with the Bearcats on May 10th. But until then, this has been Joe Foreman alongside David Pizzuto, our engineer Nick Durst, our camera operator Pat Gilorenzo. From all of us here at PDF, thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your night.